What is up, everybody? Welcome to BAF.
Hey, hey, hey.
Hello, hello.
We are here for our first episode to be hosted by our fellow pal, Adam.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. And tonight we're watching or talking Backdraft.
Yes.
And of course, you can tell I'm suited up and ready for it.
Barrel Age Flicks.
Booted and suited, baby.
Station 4. That is fucking awesome. I fucking love that.
Of course, you know what the
right
4
there.
is for, right? Season 4.
Yeah.
That is. I didn't know that. I didn't know that. I'm sorry.
Yep.
Yeah.
I figured I'd point that out to you.
Simple mind here, simple mind. But of course, since Adam is hosting the show today, he is doing the drink. So we're going to do the drink first because it's melting in front of us. So Adam and Anna, I almost said it. Anna, what is the drink that we're doing?
Yep. Well, the original idea was there's a local brewery here in Spotsylvania that's Maltese Brewing. We're going to try to get some beer from them because of the theme.
Would have worked.
We went there, and they had just moved to their new location, and we're like, we're not ready to do takeout yet. They don't have growlers, they have nothing. So everything is just there. So I'm like, damn it.
You just went in there with a bag.
Yeah. Right. So, Anna went into overdrive on Google and started looking up fire department themed drinks. And so she found a good one for us. So I'll let her say exactly what it is.
This one's called the Fireman Sour.
Fireman Sour.
It has 2 ounces of rum, 2 ounces of lime juice, simple syrup, grenadine. It says soda water, but I put some 7-Up in it because I thought that would give it a little sweetness, and I like that better.
Okay.
A cherry and a lemon slice.
Yeah, I see the little cherry at the bottom of the glass.
Yeah, it says it was a cocktail that was made. It was created in Vancouver in the 1960s by the owner of a fire hall bar. I thought that was kind of neat.
Interesting. Interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
All right.
let's go ahead and try it out. So excited about this. It's a
Prost.
interesting, like
Right.
strawberry type color.
Prost.
Hold on, I got it.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Here we go.
Oops.
Ooh, that is sweet. That is very sweet.
Has a little bit tart to it, a little bit.
A little bit. A little sweetness to it. You can definitely tell. The grenadine.
Yeah.
Definitely taste the grenadine in there. You said this has rum?
Yeah.
I don't taste the rum. That's weird. I don't know why, but I'm getting a vanilla taste to it, but I know there's no vanilla in here.
That's your stroke that you're having.
Probably. I have a weird taste, but I don't know what's going on with me.
We did wash the glasses, so it's not
Pleasant.
It's refreshing. It's nice.
I like the little lemon wedge on it.
I can see this being like a party punch, type situation.
Yes, yes,
Yeah.
I can definitely see that.
Not necessarily something you make for yourself all the time, but you make a big batch of it and just have a good time.
Yeah.
I just squeezed a little bit of that more lemon in there and actually made it even better. Oh, man, that's good.
Yeah, it is good. I like it.
It's slightly tart. I'll go first. I give it about a 1 3/4. It's not bad. It's like I said, it's definitely good for a summer punch or any punch inside one of those big jugs with the little spigot on the bottom. It's got a little bit of
Oh, you got
tartness.
fancy. You got a jug, man. I'm just fucking making out a cooler or trash.
I was gonna say one of the big orange construction coolers.
I can see this inside one of those things with a whole bunch of like lemons inside of it and everything else. But it's got
fancy, man.
a little bit of ultra sweetness to it. It's very sweet. I don't taste any of the rums, but you do taste a little bit of the alcohol, a little bit of slight warmth, but not much at all.
I don't get any.
I get a little, just a smidge. I don't know.
It's dangerous.
It tastes like punch.
Yeah,
It does. Yeah.
Yeah, this drink is dangerous. I think this is the third show in a row where I was given something where I cannot tell there's alcohol in this thing, so it's good. I give it a 2.
very
Definitely.
nice.
I know, for a person that doesn't drink much alcohol.
Right,
too.
exactly. That's why I say this is dangerous.
Yeah. So you don't mind if it's alcoholic and doesn't taste like alcohol. If it tastes
Okay. The only reason I don't drink alcohol is kind of a medical issue.
right.
And so it's just one of those things where I just prefer just to avoid the issue of it.
Yeah.
I'll drink it.
Yeah.
And it doesn't bother me. And in small doses, it doesn't bother me at all. If I drink enough of it, I just start getting tired.
No, I hear you.
That's the only thing is I'm just like, and then, having to drive, it's like, yeah, don't want to risk it. But if I'm at home,
Yeah.
yeah, I'll, every once in a while, 4th of July, I'll drink some beers and stuff like that. It doesn't bother me. But it's just, that's the only reason it reacts with the medications I take at night.
Okay.
So that's all it is.
All right.
I'll give it a 2. It's fruity. It's tasty. It's stupid dangerous
Yeah, again, it is.
because you really don't taste it, and you're gonna end up drinking a lot of this. And the next morning, it's gonna come up the same exact color, or that evening.
Yeah.
In Ron's case, it's gonna come up the same color. So
Appreciate it.
it's tasty, man. Good job.
I will say this, that the more you go to the bottom, it gets even more tart, which I like. So I'm going to keep drinking this, see if I want to change my review. But so far, I'm keeping my review. But I like how tart it's getting at the bottom because I think
No,
everything's
you
settled
gave your
down.
review.
No, you can change it. We
You
change
ga-
our reviews.
You gave
We've
your review.
changed our reviews.
Dude, stick with your fucking answer, man. Stop being a fucking wishy-washy flip-flopper, dude.
I flip flop it.
All right.
I could be going the other way. You've changed your review before. You've done before. Fuck you.
I don't even got to say shit. He's getting embarrassed.
Nope.
I love it.
He does it all.
I love it. No, this is a 2. It's almost like a liquid sweet tart. It is very sweet, but then that tartness on the tail of it. I probably, as much as I enjoy it, I probably wouldn't drink too many glasses of it just because of the cloying sweetness of it. It would just, I can see it's
Might give you
start
your
getting
heart-
some. Maybe
Might give you your heart
another
attack.
fucking heart attack. But like if you have something, I don't know if anybody else like. You have something that's a little bit too sweet, you start getting a weird ache in your fucking
Little bit.
jaw sometimes. You're like, okay, this is a little bit much.
Normally for me, it's like it's not so much the sweet, but like the acidity of them.
Okay.
It's such.
Gives you the
Excuse me.
heartburn.
It'll sit down there. It feels like it doesn't go down all the way.
just hangs.
It just
Right.
sits right on
That's
top.
exactly what I've had.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then too much of it is like, fuck my life.
Where you almost got like a weird feeling to the point where it's like almost an uncomfortable feeling, which I felt like that's what you got when you drank that drink that one time. I felt like that's where you had that uncomfortable heartburn feeling, but you said you thought you were having a heart attack.
It was not good.
Something sitting on my chest.
Yeah. The more I've gotten into this, I'm giving it a 2. I actually like the tartness at the bottom. It actually gets more sour because it's settled down, and I'm enjoying it. I'm actually really excited to try out the cherry because I'm sure that cherry's been soaking in all that alcohol,
Right.
and that's going to be
Tastes
very
like cherry.
tasty. Huh?
It's
Oh,
like
it does?
Maraschino cherry.
All right, let me see.
Or however you fucking pronounce it.
Maraschino.
Oh, it makes it a little
I
more.
think that's what it said, but okay.
It's a
Close
little,
enough, I think.
Yeah, you're right. I don't really notice a difference. It's tart.
It's not soaked in there long enough.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, no, this is a 2. I raise it up.
Good.
Good job. Good job.
Great job. And
it's-
I think it was a smart move replacing the soda water with 7-Up.
Absolutely.
Personally,
Yeah.
I think.
Do you think that adds more to the sweetness because the soda water's got no sweetness? To
A little
it?
bit, but I think the soda water would have added more of a different flavor that would not have been as enjoyable.
Yeah.
I don't think.
I think 7-Up increased the punch taste to it a little bit more. Give it
Yeah.
a little bit more
Yeah.
taste to it.
Yeah,
A little bit more carbonation,
Right.
Yeah.
right there on the tail end of it.
yeah. Well, altogether, that was really good. So we're gonna go ahead and get to the details of this movie, which is one that Adam picked. I'm actually glad you picked this one
Good
because
movie.
this is actually a classic. I remember seeing this a lot when I was younger. But Backdraft was released on May 24th, 1991, directed by the famous Ron Howard. Ron Howard's done a lot of great movies. I'm sure you've all seen most of these. We got Splash, we got Cocoon, we got Willow, which is a favorite of mine. Far and Away. I actually enjoyed that one. We got Apollo 13, one of his best movies. Ransom, How the Grinch Stole Christmas, A Beautiful Mind, The Missing, Cinderella Man, Da Vinci Code, Frost Nixon, good movie. Angels and Demons, The Dilemma, Rush. Rush is actually another one with the racing, the F-150 racing. In the Heart of the Sea, The Beatles, 8 Days a Week, Inferno, Solo, a Star Wars movie. So many movies he's done. The budget of this movie was approximately $40 million. Box office was $152.4 million worldwide. The Rotten Tomatoes score on this was a 74% critical and a 75% audience. So this is a loved movie when you think about it. The main cast of this movie, we got Kurt Russell as Bull. We got Bull McAfee. We got William Baldwin
And
as
his
his
dad.
Don't forget the dad.
That's right. He did play his dad too in the beginning. Yeah.
Dennis McCaffrey.
Yeah, Chicago Fire Department. We got Scott Glenn, who plays Axe. We have Jennifer Jason Leigh, who's pretty cool. I forgot that she was in this, actually. I completely forgot that she was in this. We got Donald Sutherland. We got Robert De Niro. And
Also, that was a fun role. He had a fun role.
for De Niro, playing sort of like the... Are you talking about Donald Sutherland?
Yeah.
Yes.
Fun role.
Yeah. So that's most of the main cast of the movie. The other movies that came out around the same month, we got Thelma and Louise. We have Hudson Hawk, the one that we just did. What about Bob? Bill Murray.
This is another fun one.
Yes. Drop Dead Fred. You remember that one?
Yes.
FX2, and then Madonna, Truth or Dare. I think that's the documentary when she was doing her...
Still a whore.
Yeah. But pretty much. Yeah, those are all the movies. So that is the details for Backdraft.
You know who wrote it, right? Did you get who wrote the movie?
No, I didn't get the writer. Sometimes I grab the writer, sometimes I didn't. Who did write
Gregory
the movie?
Wyden was the writer. You know Gregory Wyden,
Or what other movies has he done?
Highlander.
Oh.
Are you serious?
Yes, he wrote Highlander.
Well, no shit. I didn't know that.
Matter of fact, he wrote Highlander, and he was involved in all the following Highlanders after that, the series, everything. He was involved in all those.
That is crazy. No, I did not know that at all.
Like he was like the main writer, or
Was it a
He
group
was,
of writers?
No, he was the writer.
Okay.
He originally wrote it.
What other movies other than Highlander has he done? Did you find that out?
The only other one, he hadn't done a whole lot.
He didn't do Backdraft 2, did he?
He did.
I was talking to Stu earlier
do
today and said,
Backdraft
hey,
2.
have you seen the second one? Because I watched the trailer and I saw that Baldwin was in it. I saw Donald Sutherland was actually in it too.
Yes.
It's almost like a Silence of the Lambs type of deal with him, basically.
I was bringing it up.
know
Yeah,
that
he is just like, that's a good analogy. Just like
From
Hannibal
what I
Lecter.
remember, though, I feel like I've seen it, and from what I remember, it was a blatant cash grab.
Yeah.
That's what I remember.
It was
of
direct to
it.
video, wasn't it?
yes.
I don't think that was theatrical.
It
But
wasn't. It wasn't anything
No.
memorable.
I'm
It was just
interested
like,
in seeing it.
Oh, this is Backdraft too. That's yeah.
But I'm interested in
Like, yes,
seeing it to
let us
see how
get
it
a movie
is.
out.
I mean, the fact that they got William Baldwin back in there.
Yeah, I mean, and
He hasn't gone
plays-
anywhere, though.
He plays the same character. He's actually at that point he's the assistant chief of the department because it's been so long. He advanced all the way up to be assistant chief.
I wonder if they tell the whole story of whatever happened to Robert De Niro's character, because I'm actually curious
they
about that. Oh, because I actually liked his character. I can't
did
stand
watch
the
it.
actor.
Autoerotic
After I watched-
asphyxiation.
After I watched one the first time, went back and watched two. So I
Oh, so you watched the second one?
oh yeah, I did watch the second one.
Okay, good. Because fill us in on that when we talk about
Yeah.
it. So
now
we're going.
there is one more thing. I don't know if y'all have seen the news. Brian Grazer was on a TV show, and he brought up that he is thinking of redoing Backdraft.
No shit.
Yeah. Now he didn't say whether it's going to be a sequel or I think it's probably going to just be a reimagining of it,
Yeah.
redoing it. He did bring up Glenn Powell's name as one of the characters. Now in August, Glenn Powell was like, he has to talk to me about it.
Yeah.
So who
Interesting.
knows? But there
There's
is
a lot of
talk.
films out there that
Yeah.
people are like, oh yeah, I want to do this, want to do that,
Right.
And we never see it come to fruition.
Yeah.
I hope. I would love to see.
I'm just
It'd be interesting
because
to see,
Grazer was involved with the other ones, so
Yeah.
that's what makes me think that there might be something to it.
Yeah.
But again,
We'll see if it actually comes to
who
fruition.
knows?
Yeah, no, it's gonna be interesting. So, all right, well, we're gonna go ahead and take our break real quick. So, guys, we will be right back to talk about Backdraft.
No, we won't.
I'm Chris,
And I'm Mel.
and together we host the podcast
Spoil My Movie. We were watching movies anyway.
And we were having in-depth conversations about those movies too.
So, we decided to share our thoughts with the world.
You can expect me to gripe about inaccurate details like supposedly cold weather, but you can't see anyone's breath.
And you can expect me to be totally adorable, but also psychologically deep.
And by the end of each episode, we'll provide our respective ratings.
Using a rating scale custom tailored to the movie in question.
Check us out wherever you get your podcasts.
We're everywhere. We're actually behind you right now.
All right, guys, we are back at Barrel Age Flicks, so we are going to go ahead and hand it off to Adam as he hosts this show, his first one.
Yep.
For Backdraft. So let's talk about Backdraft.
Thank you. I had to strip down a little bit. That jacket gets hot quick. So.
A little bit of fucking heat, huh?
Yeah.
I just want to say, I think this show is going to be fire.
Hopefully it doesn't catch on fire. So yeah, that was one of the things that was requested was a drink that was on fire, and then we were like, no, I was afraid of it turning into a Molotov cocktail and catching Ron's house on fire.
Probably catching my beard on fire, too.
Didn't want to do that. So I think we went the safe route.
He ended up walking out here looking like freaking Shadow.
Yeah, exactly. Shadow. All right.
God,
Either
Don
that or
Sutherland
he
did
looked
so
like that dude
fucking
that went through
good
the
with that
fucking
role.
windshield.
It
God.
did. And it's incredible. He was only in it for 6 minutes
Yes.
total.
But like I said,
So
it did,
memorable.
it did
Yeah.
remind me of Hannibal
Lecter.
The
Yes.
Silence of the Lambs, basically going and getting advice from the person that's into the fire and everything else.
Right.
It reminded that, and when I saw the trailer for the sequel, I was like, he's back in it in that room. I was like, this is Silence of the Lambs ripoff right here.
Well,
So,
he wasn't necessarily in the room. He was actually in the hospital.
oh, he's from the hospital. Yeah,
he
that's
was
right.
he was in the hospital because he had an IV pole next to him and stuff like that, and he was pulling that
He's
around.
old.
So,
Yeah.
he was old.
Yeah.
So
R.I.P.
Backdraft is a story of two brothers, Stephen and Brian McCaffrey. In 1971, they were both real young. Dennis McCaffrey, who was their father, took Brian on a call and was like, hey, Brian, the fire truck, you can honk the horn and everything like that. So he did and got to the call, and Brian's out watching his father do what he does. And as they were up on the second floor of this apartment fire, Brian looks up and
Was it
notices.
only a second floor? It felt like it was taller than that. It really did.
What was the
It
fourth
may,
floor?
no,
No, it was. No.
I
It was
thought
the
I
top-
only
it
saw
was the top floor, but it felt like it was taller.
Second or third.
Yeah, I thought I only saw one set of fires. I didn't see a second fire escape below the one that he jumped when he jumped.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't see one below it, so that's why I was thinking it was second floor. So, but he doing the super dad stuff and jumped from one to one. And so while they're in this room, Brian sees fire lipping out from the roof, and at that young age, it was like he knew something was wrong.
Yeah.
And what had happened was there was a gas line that they weren't aware of. Gas line explodes, and Dad's hat comes flying out. Fortunately, Dennis passes away, and Brian makes the cover of Life magazine, holding his father's helmet.
Yeah.
Great fucking
That day.
picture.
It was.
Yeah,
It was. It
That
was
was
a
fucking
great picture.
great picture.
I mean, the guy supposedly won the Pulitzer Prize. for that picture.
Understandable. I mean, I'm like,
Yep.
that's fucked.
Yeah.
All right, that's some fucked shit right there.
So, so next, then of course, 20 years later, Brian is going through the fire academy for the second time.
Being called a probie.
Being called a probie. Yep. He quit the first time, went through the second time, and so that's where the story pretty much starts from when he's out of the academy. They're partying, say at a bar, saying, "Hey, we know what engine stations we're going to, and things like that." And so that's kind of where everything sets off.
Have you ever seen the 9/11 documentary?
Which
The one where, sorry, there's a many of them. That's a stupid
many
question.
It was a movie.
Okay, it's a pair of French directors that actually follow the life of a firefighter, of his being a probie, turning into a firefighter. But it happened right during 9/11. That's where they actually caught the first glimpse of the plane hitting the towers.
Right.
But it actually, shows like for the first 20 minutes is him going and being teased and all that stuff, and them
Right.
fucking with them.
And that
I
guy
saw
was
that a lot in this
Steve
movie. Seeing a lot in that movie, so it actually is very true to the facts of you getting teased and everything, right?
Yeah, one of the officers in the department when I was running, I haven't run. I've been out of it now for several years. But one of the gentlemen that was in our department was a active New York firefighter.
Yeah,
and he lost his entire company in 9/11. He just happened to be off that day.
Yeah,
and just it wrecked him, and so he, moved to Virginia, and still, believe it or not, wanted to be part of a fire department. So he joined ours, and he was actually our safety officer.
yeah,
And the things that this man could see, one of the worst fires that I was ever involved with was a major commercial fire, and he was the safety officer that night. And I remember him running up and saying, "We need to evacuate this building now." The building was literally breathing. He could see the roof just flexing in and out.
that's crazy.
Which is a sign that it's starving for air.
Yeah,
And it was minutes from flashing. So
Yeah.
there's a difference between a flashover and a backdraft. One of my good friends was inside the building at the time and heard the call for evacuation. Essentially, when they evacuate, they tell dispatch to send messages over dispatch. Every fire truck and truck on scene starts hitting their horns. It's essentially get the hell out of the building.
yeah,
And so my friend was coming out, and he just dove out of the window. And as he dove out and went below the sash on the outside of the building flashed.
Jesus Christ.
So it was literally seconds literally right over top of him.
yeah,
So that was one of the scariest moments because I was like, is he going to make it out?
yeah,
Some other things happened that caused his delay, which I won't go through here because I don't think he wanted me to do that. But anyway, so it's this guy though. He was like, he just recognized the signs and was like, get out.
Yeah.
So he was one of the most smart men that had to do with fire, and of course, for some reason when never mind. I won't go through that. I don't need to put that out there. So anyway, but the same thing kind of happened with Brian's father. Was his building flashed, and of course he died, and so then we come back to 20 years later. We
And
see
then he's
Brian.
reborn again.
Yep.
yeah.
Yep. Brian just graduated, and his friend Tim and them, they're all partying, having fun and stuff like that. And y'all remember did you recognize Tim?
He was very
He's from
familiar.
Iron Eagle.
Yeah. Jason Gedrick from
Okay.
Iron Eagle.
Okay.
Yeah. Yep.
The kid in Iron Eagle.
Yes.
Oh shit.
He was the
I-
kid flying the plane.
the black dude in Iron Eagle.
No, there's multiple kids
Makeup.
in Iron Eagle. Yeah, I'm
Makeup
talking
is
about the main
amazing.
Blackface.
main kid. That's what I meant. The main kid.
No. He was wearing whiteface in this.
You guys suck.
So yeah, it was Jason Gedrick from Iron Eagle.
Oh shit.
Yeah. So so anyway, so that's where we kind of see them, and of course,
By the way, he deserved what happened to him.
what's that? Tim?
Yeah.
Oh, with him checking
He
the door.
was just fucking told, check the
He
goddamn
was.
door before you do it.
Yep.
But is it the
And that's
responsibility of him, or is it the
No,
responsibility of the
it's his
training?
fucking responsibility. He passed that goddamn fire class. I'm sorry. He passed the fucking school. I'm sure they covered it in the fucking school.
They did,
All right.
but
Basic firefighting 101.
yes.
Check the back of check the door with the back of your hand.
Ultimately, though, he probably should not have been in that position to begin with.
Yeah.
So I would put the ultimate responsibility, unfortunately, on Steven.
On Kurt Russell's character.
Yes.
Yeah.
He should not been especially for being literally hours
Right.
into his first day.
Yeah.
Was it that one fire or was it the other fire?
No,
Never
it
mind,
was
never
that
mind.
one.
Second day. Second or third day it happened, sorry. But
I
even
I
then,
felt like it was longer than that because what's his name had already Billy Baldwin's character had already quit and everything like that, and he showed back up to that place.
Yes.
So this was a while after.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
they had already done multiple
Right.
calls.
Yeah, and they showed his whole training montage and shit like that.
Yeah.
So this is at least a handful of weeks, at least, if not longer.
How long is the training
in
period?
it was the
Tim's
fourth
time.
I'm trying to count the fires in my head which one it was. It was
And it's only the fires that the bad fires they bothered showing. All right, but I'm sure he was on numerous calls up to this point.
Yeah,
and
I'm thinking time frame wise, this probably was maybe no more than probably a week to 2 weeks.
See, I feel like it was probably a few months, more likely, just because the time it took the bad guy. I say bad guy, even though I understood his mentality and his thought process.
Yeah.
To get to the people, set up what needed to be set up at the opportune time.
It just seemed like faster than that to me.
It didn't seem like he was something, especially while maintaining a full-time fireman's fucking job. You only have so much fucking free time and to make the schedule work out. It felt like to me, at most he was doing once a week, but probably the way that Alderman was chomping on the bit, like it would have been going on for a handful of weeks at least.
Yeah.
That's why he was like, when the fuck are you giving me some answers?
Right.
They're not expecting an answer, a fucking few days. But after a few weeks, I can see, all right, this is getting fucking ridiculous. Tell me what's going the fuck on with the inspector.
How long altogether was he trained? Like, how long does what is the process like for the movie?
How long is the academy?
The academy probably, I would say,
But this is after academy. This is after the academy.
Yeah, this is after the academy because
That's
they had
what I'm
already
saying, but
graduated. I would say
How long's
at
probie?
minimum 6 months.
Yeah.
I mean
6
that
months
he
is
was
the probie?
that he was in the academy.
Okay.
As a probationary firefighter, that depends on how well he takes to skills.
Okay.
Okay. So you can be a probationary firefighter. Again, I would say probably the shortest period would be 6 months.
Yeah.
But if you're having trouble picking up skills and doing things, and you just it could probably be as long as a year or more.
Yeah.
So it
And
really,
also, I'm assuming there's some other things I've seen that are like Rescue Me. To me, I know it's very dramatized, but I also felt like they did a great job.
Is that the one with the comedian
Dennis Leary.
Dennis Leary,
Yes. Is that a good series?
I love that
Yeah.
series.
Okay.
I thought it was fucking amazing.
and
But
the chief in that was the truck operator in this movie.
Yep.
Oh, the bigger guy?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
He was actually a former New York firefighter.
What the fuck was he doing with the chicken? He was carrying the chicken to the fight.
There was
a
an
chick- it was a
accident.
chicken-
They
it was
were
a-
all
the truck-
fucking going around.
Chicken truck.
It was a chicken truck turned over.
Yeah.
No, I remember
they were
that, but it
catching
just
chicken.
seems like he was holding that chicken for himself.
Oh, he's probably taking it to dinner.
That's what I was thinking.
What's wrong? He was probably bringing it back to the firehouse. That's what they were all doing, was grabbing the chickens, bring it back home to eat.
Yep.
I was like, that's how
But no, I felt like Rescue Me did a
great.
great job of showing training and sort of stuff. And there's also other movies and shows that show fire department. They do a good job. So it always seems to me like you
Like
could
a
also be
montage,
waiting,
basically. Yeah.
But waiting on opportunities for certain instances to arrive for you thereby to have hands-on experience with this skill set.
It depends on call volume, call type,
Yeah.
things like that. So, I mean, how often, like say around here, how often do we have high-rise fires? Never, because
Exactly.
there's no high-rises.
Or
So,
like chemical fires
Or
Right.
mainly the fire department here is mainly for like a lot of car accidents. There's very rarely where there's any house fires around here in this area. It's mainly just accidents. That's what they're called for. A lot of car accidents and stuff like that.
And a lot of that has to do with improvement of construction materials, building types, things like that.
Yeah.
A lot of that has come to help prevent fires from even breaking out.
Especially like electrical fires.
And I
Because
think common sense also is being
Yeah.
taught a lot more to people. To
well, I mean, they have all the
react better.
inspection. They have all the safety.
Let's be careful on that one.
In order to react better to certain
No, but I also
situations,
think-
like a grease, a kitchen grease fire.
Yeah.
I think
Throw water
more
on it.
people are
Right.
are knowing. Let's not fucking throw water on it. Let's smother the bitch.
Yeah.
But,
Yes, by throwing water on it, you're gonna get smothered like a bitch.
Yes.
But
yes.
But you also got to think of all the safety inspections that they give for construction now.
Yeah, no,
with-
that's what he said.
I think
I
that's
agree with
what's
that.
better,
But I
the
do think more
insulation in the
people
house. Yeah.
have more better overall instincts now, probably reacting to potentially dangerous fire situations for the basics,
Yeah. Right.
basic shit than they did in the 70s.
Yeah.
all right.
Yeah, a lot of
And-
just basic, like you said, basic education has
yes.
Yeah.
and improvement in detection. Smoke detectors, fire detectors, things like that. Fire systems. You're seeing residential homes a lot of times now coming with sprinkler systems in them.
yeah.
That's fucking weird.
Yeah, it is.
My last house had that.
So, but
Wait,
it's,
homes with sprinkler systems?
it depends on where you are.
See, I see them in more of apartments, but I've never heard of them in houses.
No, there
homes
are certain jurisdictions now that are mandating new construction.
Oh shit!
Have sprinkler systems.
I had no idea.
Yeah, so it's just it's slowly evolving of things like that.
For that to fucking go off.
You don't want to bust
It would
the
be
camera.
so fucking shitty to be at home and having your goddamn sprinkler system go out in your fucking house and fuck everything. Just fuck everything.
Yeah, that would
Yeah.
fuck.
Well,
Would you be pissed if your PS5 got soaking wet?
Yeah,
and everything?
well, most sprinkler systems they're heat activated, so it's not gonna be smoke.
Yeah.
So the heat's got to get hot enough to burst a chemical in the glass, and usually it's only gonna be one. Very rarely is it gonna be, oh shit, the fire's over here, but the sprinkler system over here is kicking off. So they've gotten smarter. Some of the older systems was
One off.
surround and drown. Yeah,
Everything
one goes
goes
off,
off.
everything's going off.
Yes.
But they've gotten smarter now to where it's certain ones will go off that will affect the fire and other ones won't. Trying to prevent water damage.
yeah.
Essentially is what it is. And even some of the newer heads will actually close to where once the temperature in the room and everything cools down enough to where the fire may be out, and if the fire department hadn't gotten there yet, it'll start to close a little bit to reduce that water flow. It's like, again, to prevent water damage.
That's great.
Nice.
I thought it was once that glass breaks, then
It's done.
Yeah, so there's
it's
some of the
on.
newer ones. Most of them, it is the glass, but there are some that will open and close.
I was always curious how that thing works. So it's a piece of glass that holds, and once it breaks,
there's a burst disc. Or it's
Okay.
a disc. It's holding, and it's holding back the water pressure.
Yeah.
And so when the glass blows
from the heat.
the disc goes flying off, and the water comes down, hits the dispersion disc, and it just sprays out.
Yeah. Okay. Gotcha.
So yeah, most of them, it's just, if you look at them, you'd be able to tell it's red and it's a glass. And
I see. I've seen like the little red, like almost like a red stick right above the disc and everything.
Yeah.
And I was always wondering what the fuck that was.
Now,
I didn't know it was
it's
physical.
it's a liquid chemical that reacts at a certain
heat.
temperature to heat.
Okay.
And
in the residential ones, are they live charged with water in the line? Are they live charged? Are their air pressure holding it back? And then when the air pressure,
I believe most of them are air to start
Okay.
with, but you're only talking seconds for that air to disperse.
it is,
Yeah.
but to me that would add another shitty fucking thing in the fucking situation
Yeah.
of having old, stale, stagnant, fucking moldy, dirty ass fucking water
Right.
that's been sitting in those pipes for.
I don't think it
Who
really
fucking knows how
I don't
long?
think it really matters as long as it puts out the fire. That's all.
No,
that really-
to me it matters because it can go off and fuck
Accidentally?
up a shitty fucking place and
make it worse.
then half this room that was already fine is now also completely fucked because of the black mold of water that's been hanging out inside that fucking water.
You're gonna
and
have
spraying everywhere.
insurance go through the house and fix everything anyway. So what happened to this wall from shitty moldy water is
I'd much
not
rather,
gonna fucking
I'd much
happen.
rather have
Yeah.
decent water than black mold water spraying all over my house.
You're not gonna have black mold water because you're gonna have air
Yeah.
to create mold.
Right.
And if you got a solid line that's precharged with water or just air, that air is not gonna be wet enough to prevent to create mold.
Yeah.
And if it's charged with water, it's not gonna create mold.
Right.
So odds are it's not gonna be moldy water. It's just now whatever the water is supplying it.
Yeah.
If you've got shitty water coming from the city where it's, you never know. So, because I know some of the water systems are, going along. I've seen water coming out of like the fire hydrants going along Route 3 along Stafford every time they flush them.
Fucking
But that's been that's why they flush them because
That's why they
it's been
flush them, to
sitting in
get
the
the
pipes
sediment.
for a while.
Yeah, to get that sediment out.
brown, muddy,
And they run
rusty.
until it's clear.
Yep, exactly. So, so anyway, we see them at the party, at the bar, and stuff like that, and fire trucks go blowing by. It's like, let's go, fire.
Yeah.
So they run around the corner, which it seemed like it was right around the corner.
Yeah.
And apartment fire. So they're standing there, and Tim's all, shows that he doesn't know anything as he's running up to another firefighter and asks him a question. The firefighter says, "Get the fuck out of here." So, and then here comes Bull McCaffrey out of the building. I like that shot as he just walks out. So
Yep.
But it's incredible how many fires he goes in and does not have any air.
They talk about how he doesn't wear a mask.
It's the problem is that
They gave him shit about it.
literally that would be impossible because
It would be hard because doesn't the fire suck out all the air?
It's the heat. You've got so much heat and smoke.
Yeah.
That if it's a bad enough fire, like the one that he walked out of, I guarantee you that was not smoke behind him. That was steam.
Yeah.
So it had cooled off enough to where there was still steaming, but it wasn't enough. So they were probably in the overhaul phase of trying to pull ceilings and stuff like that, trying to make sure there was any more fire, stuff like that. But there were some scenes where they showed, and most fires that they go to, you can't see your hand in front of your face. So, I mean, I understand why Ron Howard had to portray the movie the way it is, because you had to be able to see what was going on.
Right.
But technically, most fires, you are lucky to be able to see here. Everything you're doing is by touch. So if you're doing a search for somebody inside a building, like when they showed they go off and searching, if it was truly a fire where you had a lot of smoke and fire, it's going to be dark. You're not going to have any light other than if you're in the room where the fire is.
Yeah.
And you're crawling on the floor most of the time at 2 to 3 foot because
Jesus Christ.
it could be, 100, 200 degrees down here. It could be 1,200 degrees up here. So you're not going to be wanting to stand up at all.
Because that fire is hot enough where it can melt the mask and all that stuff.
Oh, yeah.
And, yeah.
Yeah,
Even though you're wearing fire resistant clothing, it's not going to protect you 100%.
Yeah.
I mean,
I stood up in a training fire, one of the first training fires I went to, and I don't even think I stood up. I think I got up on my knees, and I melted my helmet.
Jesus Christ.
So just that little bit.
So you know a lot in this movie on what's realistic and non-realistic because you've been there.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
This movie, would you say this is like what percentage of this movie is realistic when it comes to fires?
To actually firefighters, I would say probably, about 60%.
Okay.
And a lot of the actions they try to portray were realistic enough. Like again, we were talking about with Tim going up.
Yeah.
You're gonna want to feel the door. Now you never want it looked like he did this, and even Bull when he was testing fire, you never used your palm of your hand.
Yeah.
Usually, what you do is you peel back your glove and put the back of your hand on it.
Yeah.
And one reason is if it's hot enough to burn you,
It can burn
You'd
your
rather
hand.
burn your back of your hand than burn your palm,
Right.
because now you can't grip and things like that.
You never grab the doorknob or anything like that.
Right,
That's
because you grab the doorknob and now you're cooked to the doorknob.
Yeah. It's
And those
Joe's got
gloves
you
that
from Home
Bull
Alone.
was wearing, how much heat are you able to actually feel through those?
Believe it or not, I've grabbed I still have mine, and I'll grab a burning log. I use them for like fires and stuff like at work with some, because we get pallets and pallets and pallets at work.
Yeah.
And if we have people who don't want them, we just let's have a fire.
Yeah.
And so I'll burn them, and I'll use my gloves, and I'll pick up a burning log and move it and things like that. Now I'm not holding it for let's see how long I can hold it.
Yeah.
But it's long enough to where it's not going to burn me.
Okay.
So they're pretty well insulated and thick heavy leather.
That's what I was having the problem when Bull was feeling it. He's feeling it through his fucking glove.
Yeah,
But I'm like,
he's not really going to do that. So you're gonna want to peel the back of the glove up and just put your hand back there real quick and see is the door warm.
Yeah.
And if it's warm, you have to determine if it's warm or is it hot. If it's hot, it's like okay, there's active fire behind this door. And so then you got to be careful of, is it still burning or is it smoldering?
Yeah.
And most of these fires, because of the name of the movie, most of them are smoldering. And that's what a backdraft is the sudden rushing of oxygen into a room that has been depleted of it. The fire's burned down, it's sitting there, it's smoldering, it can't breathe. That's why you see a little bit every once in a while under the door you see that smoke pull and pull back. It's literally just trying to breathe.
Yeah.
And then you open the doors. Now, the explosions that they showed in this aren't really realistic for a backdraft. There's a couple neat YouTube videos. One done in England, and there's another one where they are demonstrating backdrafts.
Yeah.
And one of the ones is really neat because they show it, and they'll open the door, and all of a sudden you'll see flames come out a little bit, and then all of a sudden it'll look like a concussion bomb. It's just of it just because as the air rushed in real quick, and then it kind of exploded out, it actually put the fire out.
Nice.
I mean, just like that. So it wasn't a huge fireball like they're showing in the movies.
Well,
So that was kind of deceiving there.
that one inside the opera house, the one where the guy's blown into the chairs in the opera house, and I couldn't tell if the opera house was on fire inside. It didn't look like there was a fire inside there, but the body was all burned to hell.
Well, that's because the when he opened the doors, the superheated gases was looking for air.
Okay.
It kind of did what I just explained. It burned it and blew out.
Yeah.
And that's why it blew him back.
Okay.
So,
But how did he get burned up so fast? Because he was away from the fire. He got blown away from the fire.
well, this because of how hot the superheated gases were.
Okay, so the gas, so they burned him instantly, basically. Like,
Yeah, he just, I mean,
I didn't know that
your
was possible.
exposed skin. Yeah, because he was exposed skin.
yeah.
And so it was hot enough to now
Do the damage that it did.
realistically would it have gotten that burnt.
That's why I when I
Probably
saw that I was like, how the hell was he burned up?
I
like
could see
that?
him getting
Yeah.
some good third-degree burns.
Unless
but
he was-
I doubt
unless
he
he
was
was
going to get.
charred.
Yeah, I don't see you getting cooked like as bad as he got cooked.
Yeah, because unless he was on fire when he landed on the in the chairs and he was like, basically on fire the whole time, dead.
Yeah.
That's what I was thinking. But I was just like, because he was blown away from the fire. It didn't.
Yeah.
It did.
Well, the same thing
when they
happened.
were-
To the guy, the same thing happened to the first guy.
the one in the
Seagrave
car.
with the car.
Yeah.
And the same thing happened there. Is where it literally looked like, a gas bomb went off. And it really wouldn't have been. It would have been violent, but it wouldn't have been that fire explosive.
Yeah.
As it should.
Not to the point to where they're
No.
fucking charred.
Yeah. No. The the concussion from the explosion probably would have killed him, but
Yeah.
but it wouldn't have been baked.
And that,
as it
rem-
was.
and that
No, 'cause
reminds
it
me.
looks like they're literally stuck in the house,
Yeah.
burning to death.
And that scene right there where they're inspecting the dead body, which is Clint Howard, by the way. We got
Yeah, Clint Howard.
He's in every Ron Howard film. You know him from Star Trek. Come on.
Oh, I
And
know
yeah.
Clint Howard.
I-
Everything.
the Ice Cream.
Yes.
Remember the horror movie, The Ice Cream Man, or something like that? But I love him in any movie that he's in with Ron Howard. And just the part that he played, he was like, come on,
Such
just
a
pick him up.
fucking weird looking dude.
Yeah, he
He
is.
is
He
very
is.
much.
Big
It's like
bald
weird.
head.
Looking
It's just like
dude. What cursed family is
Yeah,
that?
where those
You get a
genes
fucking
come from?
ginger and that fucking mutant. God damn.
That's from The Hills Have Eyes.
Fuck.
Oh, and the body hissing when you picked it up, because that does happen because all the gas is inside your body and everything.
Right.
But
I still picture that's
That
what he
was
looks
funny.
like as a he looked just like that as a kid. just
that's a
like,
form, like the Toxic Avenger, basically.
That's what I picture in my mind. That's what he looks like as a kid. Like fucking Ron's walking around the fucking Andy Griffith show. They got this fucking mongoloid that's fucking hanging around the fucking background.
Right. So,
Oh, shit.
But getting back to the movie, how Brian just seemed the training that Brian was getting while going through his probie stuff. So it seemed like Steven was trying to single him out, and
Absolutely, he was.
yeah, he was to a point. Like,
But I think he was-
like the one fire where he went at the garment factory where Brian went off by himself
Yeah.
and supposedly rescued the lady.
Found the mannequin.
You could
Yeah.
tell Steven was worried when he walked up to him and he was like,
absolutely.
"Are you okay?"
Yeah.
So you could tell that he cared. He was really worried about his brother. He cared about his brother. And he actually said later on in the movie that when he was talking to his wife, how he wouldn't have been able to take it if something happened to him.
Yeah.
So you can see how he was trying to do things, and part of the training is just one of the clips I have is where he was running, where he was trying to carry the hoses up the ladders. So if you want to go ahead and play that one.
Over the fucking shoulder.
Yeah.
Not breaking any records, Brian. Get it on your shoulders.
That 90s music.
Run, damn you!
It's just crazy how the music just shuts off.
There's no more inspirationalness there.
Yeah.
One's getting ready to be thrown off the roof.
I know.
pacing around each other.
Are you okay?
That was perfect.
Yeah, it was.
That was perfect.
Okay, roll the hose. Are you kidding me? All that hose by myself? You heard me. What about Tim? Oh, shit. What about Tim? For Christ's sake, next time I'll let you win. You got a problem with drilling now, Proby? Is that it? No! I don't have a problem with drilling. But let's just have one drill, Lieutenant. Now, one for the company and one for me. Roll the hose now. I'm not gonna quit, Steven. You hear me?
Yeah, you will.
Yeah, you will.
Yeah, well.
I'm not gonna quit.
So you can see right there how he Steven was singling him out to do more than what he was having Tim do.
But I don't even feel like it was coming. Like he was. I just feel like he was.
I don't think he wasn't really singling him out there because, like I said, Brian was the only one up there, and really, I mean, I don't know how much hose was up there.
Yeah, I don't know. But also, you didn't see.
No,
you
Oh,
did see Tim coming.
well, they carried two, but how many? I mean, have they been going up and down?
Him, carrying one up there, and you heard earlier in the beginning, towards the beginning of the montage, yelling at him, on your shoulder,
right?
And so you got the hint that he'd been done enough times that fucking goddamn Bull was like, "Fucking hey, this is how you fucking do it."
Yeah. Right.
All right.
And to be honest with you, it's not that hard to roll hose.
No, it's not.
So it's just.
So why was he giving us a shit about it? I mean, he's a crybaby.
It's taxing.
Yeah.
It's time consuming.
Yeah, and he felt that he was only having him do it, and not having Tim come up and also do it. Now we never saw Tim carrying a hose up, but I'm sure he probably did.
Right.
So
you saw him coming down.
Yeah.
But they were going up, so I'm assuming he had just brought some up there and was coming down for his.
And
next
the
run.
other answer to that would have been, I mean, if I was Bull, I would have been like, you roll the hose, I'll go down and get Tim and have him come up and help you. Mm-hmm. But he was just up here, so he was telling him to start. So, but
maybe it's a fucking goddamn punishment to you didn't fucking listen to me when I fucking told you multiple times to fucking put it on your goddamn shoulder.
Exactly.
All right, and now you made me fucking run up here to show you how to do it. So now you're rolling the fucking hose.
Yep. So,
but also I think it's because he doesn't want anything to happen to him.
Yeah.
Right.
Because even though for 6 years, they were separated and they didn't really fucking speak to each other. So they still have that animosity for
they're still brothers.
For whatever reason. But yes, they are still brothers.
But brothers do look out for each other.
So he obviously in a dangerous job. He doesn't want anything bad to happen to him.
Right.
Yeah.
Like he was feeling I guarantee he was scared and frightful. Like when all of a sudden his brother's not there.
Yeah.
And he has no idea where he fucking went.
Yeah. Right.
And
is he hurt? I mean, like I said, so when he comes out and he finds him, I think he did a good portrayal of worry on how worried he was.
Did a good job. Yeah.
When he found it, you can see the look on his face that he was really worried and wanted to make sure he was okay.
Yeah.
So
all to save a fucking mannequin.
Yeah.
that was kind of funny, and the fact that he pulled out the mannequin out of the fire coming down, and then so the guys just kissed the head to pull the wig off and kiss the wig. I don't think this was gonna make it.
I don't think this was gonna make it.
That was great.
So,
and the fact that was it the mayor is the one that kind of changed the story and made it
Alderman.
The alderman.
Yeah, we kind of made it to the point where he was the hero.
No, it was a newspaper article.
Yeah.
So it wasn't the alderman. The alderman. Again, press gets things messed up and screwed up all the time.
Fake news.
And so what happened is I'm sure there was a photographer there.
Yeah.
The first picture they took was him coming out the door with
the person with
a
the black
body
hair
on his shoulder.
Yeah.
So they took that picture. Then the next picture they have is of another woman wearing the same kind of clothes, sitting on the back of the ambulance with some oxygen. So they put the two together, saying he rescued her by himself, brought her down, and didn't put the connection that, no, these other two firefighters brought her down. He had a mannequin on his shoulder.
I'm just glad he admitted to it, too. I'm glad he admitted that, that wasn't me.
He told it to the alderman. Yeah, he goes, that's don't,
Because I'm sure
believe
there's
everything
dicks
you
out
read.
there that will take all the prize and glory for something that they didn't do.
Yeah, but the fire department wasn't going to let them do. You
Yeah.
say, no, he's got to buy drinks.
Yep.
His bank account was honest.
Yep.
Yep.
So, what did y'all think about the storyline with the wife?
With the one that was divorced.
I was almost wondering if that was really necessary.
I think it served a purpose. I
guess it kind of like personalized him a little bit,
Yeah,
but
there was a lot of. It shows a lot of the stress and a lot of the problems that go along with those jobs.
Yeah.
A lot of it's a high.
Well, he was always putting himself on the
divorce.
line, and to the point where he was like too gutsy to the point where he's like, you're not
And
gonna come home and
ultimately,
be
he was all about that job being better than his dad
Yeah.
was at that job, and
I'm not going to let the fire get me.
Yeah.
Essentially was his.
and then but also throwing everything he had at the job and not the work-life balance that
Is needed.
is needed for a healthy family.
Right.
Because he also wanted to make sure nothing happened to his guys also, but so he would be the first one in there, but also the most knowledgeable one in the situation. So
See, the thing with that is, I agree that I think it needed to be in there. The other love story I could have lived without, with Jennifer Jason Leigh,
Right.
with William Baldwin. That was like, I didn't really care for that.
I think the
story at
only
all.
reason they did that was to make the connection between
the whole the
alderman and
files
stuff like that. Yeah, somehow
Yeah.
to create
Plus,
somehow to get the
great
files.
fucking scene, them fucking on top
on the top of the
Okay.
while they're on the
Yes.
fucking on the
Great scene.
street and everything, and he pulls the hose down and there's a fucking broad.
Right. Where did she get the coat?
I'm assuming maybe they had an extra coats
On top of the
no,
fire
no,
truck?
not on top, but in the truck or whatever. And
Yeah.
after everybody else got out,
I was saying because they went
Billy
straight
just
from them.
popped down.
It
Yeah.
went straight from them
yeah,
getting dressed and stuff like that, riding on the truck. She didn't have it on while they were riding on the truck.
correct,
Right.
But then you see him pull the hose down, and the next thing you know, they see her and she's
But
got
he
on
maybe
a
he went to, towards the
Maybe-
cab, grabbed a fucking truck to get
Yeah.
her.
I don't think he did that. I think that was just bad writing. Because
Yeah.
he would have to go in there and climb back up from the side and be on the top.
No, it was an open cab.
Yeah.
That truck that they were on was an open rear cab.
Oh, okay.
So if you went to the front of the hose bed, the second seat in that particular fire truck was an open cab.
oh, okay. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Okay.
A lot of the
Plus,
trucks.
she's probably really fucking cold. I mean, just riding around on top of that fucking truck.
No,
Yeah.
when they pulled out of there, they were like,
Guaranteed.
"Oh, let's go, let's fuck." I mean, they were still going at it on the
Yeah.
top.
No, they were getting dressed.
No,
they were
they
happy.
weren't.
No,
they
they
were
were getting-
excited.
They were getting dressed.
Yeah.
No, when they were going
They
down
weren't
the street,
fucking.
they were not
kids.
fucking. They were starting to make out and everything. Like
They were
oh,
kids
this
because how ridiculous of a fucking situation it is.
Yeah, because
I was like,
when
what the fuck are we gonna do now? Let's fucking roll with it.
When the alarm
Right?
when the alarm went off, you see as the firefighters are running out to the fire truck, you see her legs up in the air. She's getting her pants back on. You see
Yeah.
him getting his shirt back
Yeah.
on. So they were getting dressed again.
Hey guys,
Yeah.
They should have just been rolling off the fucking
They
back of the
should
truck
have.
as it's pulling out. They're just fucking hopping right off.
Right.
Right there you go. But
Well, at that time, some of the
no.
trucks you had guys riding the bumpers. Because it showed.
But obviously he didn't care about being
take it
caught.
back.
That one
Take
there
that back.
wasn't.
Not in '91, they weren't doing that.
How
They did that in
But
the
even if there
71,
was
but not
somebody riding
91.
bumpers, obviously they didn't care about being caught because when they got to the fucking place, fucking Billy
Hey,
Baldwin was like,
guys.
"Hey, motherfucker!"
Yeah.
All right.
And they stay there drinking coffee.
Yeah, because that was the firehouse that he was at for De Niro's character.
The fire
Brimgale.
inspector.
Yeah, so he wasn't at his brother's. He was at a different firehouse.
Yeah, no, that was at the fire. That was the
So they
older
probably
firehouse.
knew he was up there. They didn't really because they didn't say you shouldn't be up there or everything else. They were just like,
Well, they knew he was up there when he
When
went
they
to get
fucking
down.
found.
yeah,
Right,
yeah.
That's how they knew.
right.
But yeah, I that love story. I understand they put it in there for the whole files and everything else, but I could have lived without. I didn't really care for her character altogether, and she was a very short role.
I was fine with her.
I enjoy. I
They
didn't
threw
mind.
it just to give a little bit of a love story for him, and
I don't know.
The main characters get
that's
love
all it
stories.
is.
Yeah.
And throw a random fucking little sex scene in there. Well, on top, like I said, an iconic fucking setting. You know, it was super memorable.
Yeah.
Weird how they were cutting it in between the other shit. I was like, that's an odd way to cut
Right.
between there. Okay, it's a strange way to fucking cut it.
Correct me on that. What scene were they cutting? Because I know it was a sex scene and there was another scene happening. What was the scene that was
As
happening?
the fire and everything like that gets
That was the scene.
Oh, okay.
That was the
Yeah,
fire
yeah.
where Tim got hurt.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, with Caruso
just a
in the high tower.
weird situation. They I didn't think they needed to enter. They didn't need to cut back and forth. They
You think it should have just been
gone
one scene
from
and one
here,
scene?
Focus
Well,
on this,
one's enjoying
and then-
themselves, one's getting
And
not,
plus,
not
and it's
enjoying
probably it's because it's going in real time.
yin-
That's happening
yin
and that
and yang.
happening.
But
And
once
that,
again, they could have just easily just flipped right back and forth after they showed
Yeah.
this scene, then flip back to the other scene. All right, and it showed them come.
Well,
go right
maybe
away.
because they're showing
It didn't need to be
because
cut
he
back and forth
left.
multiple
That's why
times.
Tim's hurt.
yeah.
It's a weird situation.
Oh yeah.
I wasn't a big fan of that particular choice of editing.
I didn't mind, but I didn't mind the divorce and all that. The whole ordeal with
that
the.
was
I thought that
fine.
was because it actually showed his character.
Even the confusing of the son
living
and
on the
everything
boat.
like that. I thought that was
Right.
that humanized
Yeah.
Bull's character a lot, and it gave another way for him to explain why he may be seeming like he's coming off a dick when he really wasn't. He was looking out for his brother the best way that he possibly could, which is either A, fucking tear him down and build him right back up fucking strong enough to withstand this shit, or B, get him the fuck out of there, because if he isn't built up stronger, he's going to die. And it would be on him the reason he died. He couldn't handle that.
Other than this being taking place during a fire and being firefighters and stuff like that, you feel like this movie is a story about brotherhood. I mean, especially with these
definitely.
two brothers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which a lot of people,
Not just real brothers. I mean, also
I would say any
the
movie,
family
yeah.
of brothers from the firehouse and stuff like that.
Any
even
movie-
of the bomber and Bull's character.
Well, see, the thing is,
and Bull,
which
I like that. Even them,
I didn't feel
they
he
were
was
showing brotherhood.
and I didn't feel he was a villain. I feel like he was just
know.
looking out for his brothers, and he felt like they were being fucked. Firefighters being killed and everything. But
Or
no, the villain of the
could've
movie
just
was the alderman.
yeah,
He was the one that was
but Axe
doing
also-
things to create the situation that was causing firefighters to die.
True.
Because they didn't have backup. And so that's why Axe felt like he had to do what he had to do to bring to light
But
what the alderman was doing. Did he do it the wrong way?
Axe
Yes.
chose to do it in a safe way, I guess is what he was thinking it was, creating this backdraft situations. So they puts themselves out, like the inspector was saying. But still, ultimately, why is he choosing to go this way that had so many different potential ways shit could go bad and firefighters could get fucking hurt because they're gonna be the ones showing up to handle this shit.
right.
Well,
Instead of just
I think
fucking
that's
putting a
why
bullet-
I think that's
put
why
in a
he did
bullet.
it that way. Is because I think he felt that, and that's why he did it in the areas where it was within his jurisdiction. So he felt that when it happened, they would be the ones to get the call to put the fire. So he felt like if something happened, he would be. That's why he was so upset with Bull taking Tim off. He was like, let's wait. And then he wanted to do it, and Bull was like, no, you go over here. I'll take him over here. I think he wanted to try to control the situation of how it happened and how things went down.
If he wanted true control of the situation, he would just made them fucking eat a bullet real fucking quick, be done and over with. But no, he wanted to go this elaborate shit where shit could go
But
fucking
then you're
bad.
not going to have the movie Backdraft.
You're right.
Right.
But you would have people fucking pay for the shit, and you wouldn't risk other people's fucking
Right.
lives to handle
His
your
thought
fucking
process
mess.
of what he was doing sound.
The people
okay.
needed to pay. They paid.
Well,
all right?
I think he also wanted
actions
to
of it were
point
not.
out the need from what the alderman was causing was such a reduction in manpower
Yeah.
that firefighters were getting hurt. He was closing fire stations. So I think the reason he was doing it the way he was doing was to show that here we are fighting this fire and we don't have any backup.
Yeah.
Right.
Where's the next coming engine? At the garment factory, he split up when Bull says, where's the next coming engine?
They're not.
You're not. It's gung-ho time. And they had to, dig in and wait and things like that. So I think he was trying to create situations to show the need for additional manpower.
Yeah.
Okay.
Then he could have done it in fucking abandoned fucking buildings, burn them down. If they're in an abandoned building, it's going to be less likely you're having the people be in such a rush, the firemen being in such a rush to trying to go through there, and they'd be more likely to make safer calls.
Well,
and
for the most
safer
part,
judgments.
that's what he did do, though. because
The high rise,
that was the only one that was the first
the
one
man's
with
house that was in a fucking goddamn so close to every other fucking building right there. Shit could have gone fucking sideways. The first one.
Yeah.
All right. There's
Nope,
so many things.
perfectly
The
planned,
entire.
perfectly set up. He guaranteed himself that it would not fucking
Yeah.
happen.
Yeah.
All
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
He's a goddamn professional. All right.
he knew what he was doing. So, but getting back to
And the garment factory, it wasn't abandoned, obviously, because they pulled a chick out. They pulled a.
the garment factory was not a fire from him.
Yeah, but I'm
No,
saying
that was just a random fire.
That was just a random fire.
Okay.
Yeah.
But he
that
could
wasn't
have
one he did.
easily set it up in completely abandoned fucking facilities.
Yeah.
Not even, he could have made these fucking bad dudes eat a fucking bullet. Didn't even have to have anything to do with fire at all. Just
Going
fucking
back
shoot
to
him,
fucking
kill
eating
him.
the goddamn bullet
All right.
again, man. Jesus.
Because his whole thing is one. He could have.
He's a
been doing
fucking
two things.
firefighter. He's not a cop.
He is.
All
I
right.
don't give a fuck about him being a cop. He is still
Right.
a pyro. Okay, he is still an arsonist. All right, and they even talking about De Niro was even saying you have to kind of be in love with this shit.
Yeah.
In order to do this,
To understand it, yeah.
And the guy obviously was in love with it, so he was 2 steps away from Donald Sutherland's character. All right.
Oh yeah, no, I agree with that.
So
Yep.
he is
What?
The jar.
a psycho,
What about the jar?
Can you pass it here for a minute?
but not to the same level yet.
Yeah.
Thanks.
So I don't know if I'd say. I don't know if he's a psycho. I think he was broken. Mm-hmm. So
Absolutely
I
he
think
was.
what happened
And he
with
was there
everybody
when Bull's fucking father.
Yeah, well, Bull's father essentially saved his life.
Yeah.
I mean, he pushed him out of the room when the room exploded. So, so I think that now I don't think that broke him. I think that is what
That was
gave him
catalyst.
the sense of family to Brian and Steven.
Yeah.
He
Yeah.
essentially said that he raised him.
Yeah.
So
Shitty job not to let one brother talk to another for 6 years. So he raised them.
So, but I did like getting back to like the situation with his ex-wife where they went to the party. He would not stop trying to go fight that guy.
I loved it.
How many times did he had to go back like 5 times just
He's
trying
like,
to
"No, I'm
beat
good.
the
I'm
shit.
okay."
I'm good.
You got to remember, he also had alcohol in him, and
yeah.
alcohol makes you want to makes you
Beer
a little bit
muscles.
more feel like you're. Yeah, exactly. And to the point where he wanted his wife back, and seeing this
yeah.
little lousy little fucking guy. And then when the little guy started talking about his little brother
His
like
brother.
that, oh, that fucking pissed him
that's what set him
Oh,
off.
dude. And when he was saying stuff, too. What did he say? I don't remember.
I don't
but He
remember.
was saying some stuff. I know that.
Oh shit! So we all have brothers, so I think we can all relate to that when you think about it. Actually, do you have a brother?
Yeah, I've got one. My brother is 10 years older than I am. Lives in Alaska.
Oh, you're a younger brother.
Yeah, I'm the youngest of 4,
Oh wow. I'm an older.
You're
and I'm
old, too.
still the
You're
old
younger.
fart.
I'm younger. You're
Fuck
the
you,
youngest,
Ragnar.
right? And Ragnar, you're the oldest. No, Brian's the oldest, right?
Yes.
I keep getting them mixed up.
How?
I don't know. I thought he was younger.
He's saying you look old as fuck, is what he's saying.
Fuck whatever. I've had a rough life. Right?
So anyway, we've spoken about him a few times, Ronald. How he is the arsonist. He is the Hannibal Lecter of fire.
Yeah. He gets off on it.
Yeah,
So fun.
it is so fun, and just where we meet the way we meet him when Grimgale goes to his hearing. You go ahead and play the clip.
Hi, Shadow.
Hey, Ronald, how you doing? Staying comfortable?
Think you were going to make it.
Oh, no, I wouldn't miss this for the world.
Who's that?
It works for me.
Fireman? I like firemen.
Yeah, you like everybody, Ronald.
Brian McCaffrey. Yeah, sure you know. That's Stephen. He's the little one with the hat. Oh, what a treat.
Hey, do I know you?
Your dad did.
Who the hell is this guy?
Put it away.
Come on, Shadow. He lost his dad to the animal, and you didn't even tell him who he was coming to see. Tell him.
Let me tell you about old Ronald. Ronald likes telephones. Likes to tape wooden matches to the bell strikers and then wrap it in cotton with gasoline. You had a whole little thing going there, didn't you, Ronald? Yeah? And when you got bored, what'd you do? What'd you do? how to make a telephone call.
Never proved. Tell them about us down on State Street.
Nah, nobody cares about that one.
It was your basic warehouse torch that I was doing for the owner. I mean, they're a cakewalk. I just lost my concentration, I guess, and my animal turned on me. Got the whole place going like hell. My hair was on fire, my hands, everything. I was dead. And suddenly I was alive. I was being pulled out of there by my hero, my shadow here. Except, of course, he didn't see this big tub of phosphorus, did you? Explosion lit him up so bright, left his shadow on the wall. Still shy about rolling up your sleeve, Shadow? Show him your stomach. The funny thing about firemen, night and day, they're always firemen.
All right. The parole board has received Mr. Bartell's fitness report, his ID 44, endorsement from his section warden, Dr. Norris.
As supervising psychiatrist, I would describe Mr. Bartell's progress as remarkable. Taking into account his disability and the 6 years he's already served, I recommend parole.
She's not a very good
Mr. Bartell.
psychiatrist.
Nope.
No.
Do you regret your crimes?
Yes. And I'm aware of the pain that I have caused.
No, you didn't.
If released.
No, he's aware of it.
Oh, he's definitely aware.
Again?
No,
But
no,
he
I won't.
He doesn't care.
said he's not going to do it.
Do you consider yourself ready for society?
He might not have.
Yeah, right, Ronald. You're ready, all right.
Excuse me, excuse me.
Shadow.
Remember this? You remember this, Ronald? Remember who it belonged to? What did you do to that little girl, Ronald?
It's not fair, Shadow.
What did you do to that little girl, Ronald?
I burned her.
You burned her.
He's smiling, too.
What do you do to old ladies, Ronald?
Burn them.
What about the world, Ronald? What would you like to do to the whole world?
Burn it all.
The crazy thing about that scene is that right when he says, "See you next year," he's not going to let this guy go.
No.
Because he is a true killer. I mean, he is a true arsonist, and
Right.
he is obsessed with fire. So you're thinking that he's going to be, oh, yeah, I'm good to go. As soon as he sees fire, he's going to want to do something, burn somebody. That's
Right.
what his obsession is to burn people, to burn things, to burn the whole world.
Yeah.
So that's all that's on his mind. He has an obsession with fire.
He's a pyromaniac.
Exactly.
Yeah, and Rimgale knows that every year when he comes up for probation, or he's going to have to be there for parole. He's going to have to be there to say, nope, you're not getting out.
And what I love in the beginning before the scene happened, and he says, "Where are we going now?" It says pest control.
Pest control.
Which I thought fit for that. It was like, yep, getting rid of a pest. You know,
Yeah.
we're not letting this pest loose. We're gonna keep him incarcerated. Basically, sitting in asylum, right?
Yeah,
that was asylum, not jail.
Yeah, there's actually, or there was a Don Ringale was actually a fire investigator for Chicago.
Mm-hmm.
So there was actually a Don Ringale in the Chicago Fire Department. So that he was portraying.
Nice.
Oh wow.
So I don't know how much, if there was any crossover like story wise, but he did use like there's a lot of names that were like they try to use like Seagrave.
Yeah.
Well, Seagrave is the name of a brand of fire trucks.
Right.
So they try to use a lot of different things like that, and there was, I think, over 200 active firefighters that helped with the movie, especially in the funeral scene. Those were all active firefighters that day, suited up in their Class A's to walk in the funeral scene.
Right.
So
Which
it
is-
was,
Because realistically, they would have Axe would probably have been a part of that also, right?
what do you mean?
in the funeral?
He was
In
there.
The casket?
He was there. All right.
There was two trucks.
Okay, I must have missed
two
the
trucks,
second
yeah.
one.
Yeah,
I
so when you
saw one. For sure.
I thought the funeral was for both of them all together.
That's what I was, okay. That's
Okay.
I missed.
Yeah, there was if you look, there was two fire trucks.
Okay.
Carrying them,
which is fucked.
Yeah, wasn't it Bull that told
but
I understood. Yes,
told his brother not to say
it would have destroyed it would have hurt the fire department.
Which would you feel like that was he should have kept his truth on that, or do you think that it should have got out because he was protecting his?
No,
that's what I'm curious.
He kept it, which is what he should have done.
Okay, that's what I'm curious. What you guys think of that? If you think that is something that should have been done and not let loose. See, Stu's got something different here.
The only problem is that by not saying though, you can't close the case. So I don't know how Rimgale would have been able to close.
Yeah.
I know how he closed what happened with the alderman,
right?
And all that stuff. But I don't know how he would have been able to close the cases,
open arson cases,
the open arson cases, unless they just said, we find it arson, but we don't know who did it.
Yeah.
Who knows? Theoretically, if an arsonist did it, who says the arsonist didn't kill himself and they never found out that it was actually him that did it? So
right.
That's the only thing I can say is that there's just open arson cases that weren't able to be closed because of that.
And it would have hurt the department, but also
going by a law.
It's not just going by law. It's just
honesty.
You are having the entire city pay honor and respect to this man
that killed people.
That killed not just people, but also directly caused the death of another firefighter. And directly, because of his actions, caused the mutilation of another firefighter.
Right.
And by you keeping your fucking mouth shut, you're letting this man still be honored, and you're leaving these other cases open. You're never letting Tim get the piece that Tim could be searching for, because of the man, him not necessarily knowing ever that the man who caused this,
It was actually the man he was side by side with in fires, saving this lady.
But he got his payback, or his comeuppance. So I think even if it does hurt the department overall, you still have to shine the light on it. It's like if you have a dirty cop, you still should shine the light on the fucking dirty cop. Even if you handle it, still fucking shine the light on it. It
also shows that you're trying to police your own.
Exactly.
That you're trying to make sure that you are doing better.
Yeah.
And that you have better personnel. And if you do have a bad person in position, you're doing what you can to get him out of that position.
Yeah.
Now, he took himself out of that position,
Yeah.
but you're still showing that by saying, admitting he was the one that did it.
And then also show to any other potential firefighters, because I have read multiple stories where you got glory hound firefighters that are arsonists to then turn around for the glory of putting them out and being the hero, the savior, side of it, but turn around saying, we don't care if you are a fucking firefighter or if you're not. You fuck up, you fuck around, you're gonna find out. And it's another way of saying, making people hold their own accountability. And I personally think the light should have been shown on it, even if it was against Bull's final wishes. It still would have been the better, more honorable thing overall.
Yeah,
I agree with Ragnar. I'm kind of hard to. I know what you're saying, but for your brother, I don't know.
I think the biggest reason that he did was a couple different things. I think the reason he didn't was one, because of the final request from Bull.
Yeah,
the man raised him, so he still felt like
he was like a father to him, other than a brother.
Yeah, some of honor to him because of that, and felt that, and then ultimately that he probably did feel like it would have hurt the department, which it would have. But I think all of that compiled for him to make his decision,
and then
not to do it.
Those dirt bags that Axe did kill, you made them dirt bags, but they could have had fucking families that we don't know about.
Right.
They could have had wives, kids, grandkids,
Yeah.
that they will never know for sure that the person responsible for their loved one's death got the ultimate justice.
Yeah.
So you're leaving them in limbo as well by not fucking telling the truth.
Right. And really, he could have got the same solution, probably even better, if he had only gotten rid of Alderman.
Yeah.
Because then the files would have been released. They would have found all the files because Alderman said he can't go against you. Oh, look at all this file. Oh, this is all fake. So if he just done the one,
Yeah.
it probably would have solved everything.
Yeah.
But again, you wouldn't have had a movie.
Yep.
It destroys the whole plot.
Right.
There would be no more Backdraft.
Would have been one less time I had to see Clint Howard.
You really don't like the way he looks, do you?
He's a fucking weird looking son of a bitch. So fucking weird.
But it's fun. Some of the
Great
things
guy,
that they
too,
did
but
that they actually went through. Billy Baldwin and Kurt Russell actually went through a boot camp for I think it was a month or two, where they actually slept at the Chicago firehouses, went to training with them.
Yeah, I like
things
that.
Learn how to do everything.
It's just like when they do for war movies, how they put the actors through a boot camp to see how it's like. So I think that's really cool. How
and
they
they
would
did
do that.
they did almost all of their own stunts, so they actually got stunt credit.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
for what they were doing in the movies.
I love Kurt Russell.
Yeah. And believe it or not, all the fires, everything else that they only had one injury.
Interesting.
And it was during.
Was it Tim?
No. It was during the cleanup. Somehow I was going to clean up. Somebody tripped over something and broke their ankle.
You're kidding me.
No.
There was no burn stunts or anything like because there's some scenes
there
in
was
there.
some minor.
I'm sure.
It was okay. It wasn't enough of a burn to call it an injury.
Yeah.
It was more of maybe first degree heat. Got hot and stuff like that, and stuff, but they never got burnt.
Yeah, but when you look at the scene, especially the one, the finale inside that warehouse and stuff like that, the fire and pyrotechnics, because this was all practical effects. I assume.
Oh, yes.
You could tell
Yes.
that some of it was like almost like a pre-CGI, not CGI, but like animation. There's some scenes where you could see it, but the fact.
I'm saying.
Oh, I thought you. I'm sorry. I thought you said something.
Well, I was getting ready to say the only CGI that they really said that they did was on the rooftop where he's running to the edge of the rooftop. Mm-hmm. That was done in miniature.
You could tell. Yeah, you could definitely tell that.
Other
in
than
scene,
that,
where the roof is given out.
Yep.
Yeah.
Other than that, everything else was practical effects.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And I'm sure it gets fucking hot as hell in there. I mean, you guys have been to like amusement parks where there's like fire all around. You can feel that heat. So when you're thinking you're inside of a fucking room, like fire all around and stuff like that, it's got to be fucking crazy. And
It's
how
10 times worse than that.
Oh, I know.
Yeah.
Much.
I know, but in this movie, the way they did it, I thought they did a really good job because you just see the firefighters like in the middle of the fire, and I just can't imagine how I thought that they like imposed like they CGI imposed the guys into the fire or not wasn't CGI in those days like blue screen or something like that, but it looked pretty realistic. It looked good. So
I was just trying to find something here. One of the things that they built for effects, where is it? I'm trying to look at my notes. They actually built this thing. They called it the Ashomatic, and essentially it was what they call it was kind of like a reverse vacuum cleaner that looked like an old record player with the big trumpet.
Yeah,
and it would just pump out burning embers of card. It was shredded cardboard that it would pump out like burning. So that's how you got all like the burning embers and stuff like that flying around. That's all that was. It was just
nice
pumping out burning ash.
That's really cool.
Then they built most of the fires. I think they called it like, especially in the warehouse fire. I think they call it Big Bertha or something like that.
Big Bertha?
Yeah, but it would spray out. It was a mixture. They worked on several different mixtures, but a lot of it was kerosene and stuff like that. But when they fired this thing off the first time, it blew out all the windows of the warehouse. So now the warehouse was slated for demolition anyway.
Yeah,
but
that would suck if it wasn't.
But yeah, so
we're gonna start this
supposedly
fire on the 5th floor.
Yeah.
You guys keep working down there at number 3.
Number 3, number 7. You guys are fine. Don't worry.
Yeah. See, I didn't know if they did. I didn't know if it was actually in a studio or if it was actually in a real building that they did.
No, it was a warehouse that they.
And they had like set things blowing fire out everywhere and everything.
Yep.
They did a good job.
Yeah.
I mean, what was this, 1990 we said?
1991.
91. For that year, those special effects were amazing and practical. I thought they did a really good job on the
it was
practical
hard.
effects.
They hadn't created.
The fire was gorgeous.
Yeah.
Especially the one where it's like
gorgeous.
the one where it's like dancing on the roof.
Well, did you know there was several scenes where you saw Brian, he was looking down and it looked like the fire was running across the floor. the way they did that was they filmed it upside down. So it was rolling across the ceiling.
Oh.
But then they flipped it to make it look like, because fire doesn't roll across floors. It wants to climb.
It was really beautiful how it looked, though. I mean,
Yeah.
it looked like it's like they basically like poured gasoline and just pour it right on the floor, and then you just like.
It did feel like some of the scenes though were being played in reverse.
Yes, and especially the scenes where again
where they're showing like the backdraft,
where the fire is sucking back into a room, and
Yeah.
they were like, oh, it's it's sucking back in. So
Well,
now
you
there
can also-
are some instances where that may happen, but not to that extent.
Yeah.
But you can see also the quick cut, like the guy that got blown from his house. You can see how the screen just like a quick edit. It replaces. It's all of it explode, and then it explodes. You can see that the guy was moved and everything. It was a mannequin being blown out.
Yeah.
But I mean, for its time, that's still fucking good. I mean, and there's been what was that firefighter movie? The one that takes place out in the California. I think the California fires. The ones where the whole.
It's a very good movie.
Yeah. it's got Josh Brolin in it. It's actually a really. I think all of them died except one.
Yeah, it was the
It's the one that wasn't there.
What mountain?
I don't know. I know it's based on a true story.
Yeah.
But the special effects were really good in that. But for this being 1991, they compare pretty good.
Yeah.
So.
And just going, we're talking about the science of fire, where Rimgale was trying to tell Brian how fire acted and things like that. You can go and play that one clip.
Old Marty was acting a little strange. He's right. Residue. Holcomb is the third victim.
Backdraft was set up somewhere in there. Fried Holcomb when he opened the inner door. But the outer door held and it waited for Tim.
In a word, Brian, what is this job all about?
Fire.
I love the special sound effects that they use for this.
It's a living thing, Brian. It breathes, it eats.
Or it hates. The only way to beat it is to think like it. To know that this flame will spread this way across the door and up across the ceiling, not because of the physics of flammable liquids, but because it wants to. Some guys on this job, fire owns them. Makes them fight it on its level. But the only way to truly kill it is to love it a little. Just like Ronald.
It's one thing I got to give also to Hans Zimmer, who does the score to this movie. And I was thinking about making a clip for it, but I decided just to talk about it real quick. Hans Zimmer's score for this is powerful. I actually love the theme for the firefighters. It's very heroic, and he does a really good job. And then when the scenes with the fire, it sounds very beautiful, as the way the fire moves and everything, and it's got like a beautiful score to it. Hans Zimmer, this is one of his earlier scores, and I fucking love it. So great fucking score from Hans Zimmer on this.
Yeah. Now there's when Rimgale was talking about that one particular scene, there's a lot of, I'm not gonna say controversy, but a lot of fire investigators didn't quite agree with how he portrayed right there, because he's almost trying to make it seem like what they do is not necessarily guesswork, but how does he's talking fire lives and breathes and stuff like that. And it doesn't. There's actually a standard that all fire investigators have to follow when they're doing things. It's everything has to do with fire departments. There's NFPA, which is the National Fire Protection Association, and there's rules and regulations that they put out pretty much on everything.
Right.
And there's a standard. It's NFPA 921, which is the Guide to Fire Explosion Investigations. And it's essentially the scientific method and that there's laid out for all fire investigators of kind of how they have to follow to find out if it's arson, things like that, because they've got to be definite when it comes to criminal and civil lawsuits and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So there can't be any guesswork.
Yeah.
So they literally have to be able to follow and say, this is how this happens. This is how this happens. This is how whoever did something, this is how they did it. This is how we know they did it, and things like that. So they can't really, because if you start putting in, I guess, fantasy or things like that, then you start leaving things to question.
Right.
So, so that's kind of why there's some fire investigators are like, no, that's not really how it works.
But would you say the fire has a mind of its own and how it works and everything else? I mean, the whole
No, fire pretty much is going to react one way, and it kind of shows.
basically in the situation with like the air, the oxygen in the air, the wind,
Right.
and everything else.
Fire's pretty much going to go one way.
Yeah.
Up. Unless it comes in contact with another object. Ceiling.
Okay, so-
once it hits the ceiling, then it's going to go across.
Right.
The only way it's going to come down if it comes across the ceiling. Now it's going to start banking down.
Okay.
So it's going to follow a path. So that's how they know how to try to look at fire investigators. One of the neat things they did show is where he was talking about, show me how it happened. In a fire that's hot enough, if it doesn't break, glass will melt, and
Right.
it'll actually melt towards the direction of the fire.
Interesting.
So
Like
if
the
you
light
looked at
bulb.
that one light bulb, so that's when he looked up the light bulb and saw how it was melted and kind of pointing in a direction. That's how he knew to go that direction to start looking for the source of the fire.
Gotcha.
Because that's where it was the hottest.
Okay.
So,
Interesting.
yeah. So, let's see. I remember where we were here. So we did that. I don't think what else there's some neat little trivia things that came out. Yep, it was Bertha on the pyrotechnics.
Big Bertha.
Yeah, Big Bertha, it was.
Just a fish in Super Mario.
Yep. And one of the notes, Alan Hall, I guess he was the pyrotechnics director, stated that if it wasn't tied down, it would rocket across the room.
That's funny.
So
Yeah.
with the explosions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, sorry, I'm just looking at all my different notes that I took here.
Oh, good. Take your time.
So, oh yeah, so they were trying to. Alan Hall was, like I said earlier, he was the pyrotechnics director. So 3 months before any filming started, he started playing with like the flammable substances, alcohol, kerosene, stuff like that, and what he called the burn stage. And so he just wanted to see how things would do and different materials, because he didn't want an explosion and to be able to, he wanted to be able to somehow control fire, which is hard to say exactly. So he did the best he could.
Yeah.
So yeah, everything they were doing. So they built tanks that would spray. So a lot of these fires that you're seeing, it was actually coming out of nozzles and just spraying everywhere, and that where they could shut them down. So like the one scene where Brian takes the fire extinguisher, blows it off, and throws it into the fire. That's not going to knock the fire out.
Right.
It's gonna.
No,
it's
but
gonna,
it suppressed it
hot-
enough so he can get through.
Well,
that was his only reason.
No.
for it,
But what
though.
I'm saying is that's not gonna work.
Yeah.
Is what I'm trying to say.
No.
For the movie. So essentially, the reason that it worked is they were like, okay, we'll turn that nozzle off. So, but throwing the fire, because the material, it's carbon dioxide powder and stuff like it, and mixed in with a powder and stuff like that. So throwing it at like that, you're losing the carbon dioxide for the most part.
Yeah.
Because it's just going everywhere. It needs to be directional. And then the powder was just, because of it coming out so fine, it was actually burning versus suppressing the fire.
Like you can do that with Coffee Mate.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. Any fine particulate, stuff like that, you can throw it in the air, light it.
Yeah.
It makes it look like it's flammable. It's not that it's flammable, it's the space
Well, it's
in
like
between
Mythbusters.
the
Did
particles.
you see the Mythbusters thing where they did that, where they took made a cannon creamer, and it was like, supposedly it was the biggest fire that they ever produced.
Yeah.
On Mythbusters.
It's because
of what it was.
it's not because the stuff itself is flammable. It's the air that's in
It's
between.
the mixture. Yeah, it's the mixture of the products.
particles that is catching and feeding the fire, and just
That's why granary fires are so dangerous.
Yeah.
Is because you've got the air from grain and stuff like that that does the exact same thing, and you don't know whenever it's going to get to that perfect mixture to just explode.
Yeah.
Also, manure plants. Don't manure plants also gain into a lot? Get a lot of fire.
That's because they're
they can
actually
explode.
producing heat.
They're producing
and
heat.
methane.
Yeah. So if they don't have it,
shitty.
they don't have it breathing off, venting off.
Yeah.
Well, for landfills, it's the same way.
Yep.
You can really see it. The landfill that we have in our county, as you're driving down the highway, if you look off of it, there's a torch, and it's burning the methane off of the tanks coming from the decomposing trash.
Well, I remember that. Was it Waco, Texas? Remember, it was Waco, Texas. Where
Waco is where a fucking standoff happened.
Yeah.
And the
I don't think
ATF
that's
and
not what you're
FBI
thinking
and
of.
some bad stuff happened.
Remember, it was on the news. I think it was Waco, Texas,
wanted
where
his
that
hand.
manure plant like exploded. It was like a huge explosion. Like,
Okay.
Was it a manure plant or just a? I thought it was just a chemical plant.
I thought it was a manure plant. I thought that's what it was, but maybe I'm wrong.
No, it wasn't too long ago that a manure plant did go boom.
Yeah, that's what.
But once again, that's because of the heat and the methane buildup that happens.
Right.
There, it isn't that. Like you're talking about the granary, or I was talking about the coffee creamer and stuff like that, where that's particulate fire. It's that's a totally different type of.
It was a fertilizer plant in Waco, Texas. Yep.
It was okay. So it was a fertilizer plant. Okay.
Yeah.
So essentially,
Info.
Right.
Damn the criminal facts act. So that's why I didn't know if
Somebody brought some diesel.
I remember seeing the video because whoever was recording it, and it was right on video. Like, it did a shockwave, huge. It was a huge explosion.
Yeah. It
So I was thinking
supposedly
about-
it like blew out windows for like miles.
Yeah, you got a concussive burst.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
So, and I think the final fire, I think they did a really good job of showing how, like with the roof collapse, right before it happened, how it
bubbles and
breathes and stuff like that. Because if you start getting that stuff hot enough and it's contained enough, again, the building would. Well, I was telling you about the commercial fire I was at.
Yeah,
it'll start to breathe.
That is scary.
It is. It really is scary.
Idea.
When you picture, you think of how sturdy these buildings should be, and that they're actually flexing. It's a scary thought of the power that's beneath it.
I mean, that goes back to
Shitty
the whole thing about when the Twin Towers. I mean, how the fire from the jet fuel and everything else, it was making the metal, the steel like bend and
it fatigued the metal, and it really just and it fatigued in enough floors to where once a few floors failed,
it
just
weight,
pancaked.
Yep,
Yeah.
all that weight from the top, and it was just like pushing it down. It was like
Yeah, it
everything
just
else.
pancaked on down.
Yeah.
So we've mentioned before how Adcox was the one producing fire, causing the issues and things like that. And the reason how we found out is that Brian at the fire, Rimgale and Brian went to confront the alderman about the fire, about what was going on, what he was doing to firehouses.
Yeah.
They go to his house and he's not there. They smell gas. So he tells Brian to go turn the gas off. Brian sees a flashing, turns around and sees somebody comes charging at him, and they start fighting. And Brian then they roll across the floor into the way he's been igniting these fires is putting magnesium into an outlet, causing the magnesium to burn. And then while the magnesium is burning, the gas gets to a certain point and starts the fire.
Yeah, it's all science.
Right. So he rolls the person that he's fighting with, the arsonist, into the outlet and burns the guy.
Like an outlet burn.
It's gotta be a bad burn too.
Yes.
Gotta hurt. Gotta sting.
The magnesium, I know.
And it's right on a place where it's hard to get to and everything else.
Yeah. So Brian thinks it's his brother because the chemicals that have been used in his fire, Stephen has on his boat.
Yeah.
And he couldn't
love that
explain
boat.
why he had it on there.
Yeah.
So because he kept saying that Adcox has been giving it to me. Adcox, not really. Do you think Adcox was setting Stephen up?
No, I don't.
Why was he giving him the chemical?
Maybe just to hold on to. I don't know. I mean, because why would he do that if he's trying to protect his brothers? Wouldn't he be protecting him? But there was a little bit of there was tension between them. There was a little tension between them.
Bull does even flat out. So you fucking give me this shit,
right?
And
well, not only that, but does Adcox think that with everything that Bull's going through in his personal life, going through a divorce, things like that, firefighters are dying.
Yeah,
he would be the
that'd be
perfect
another-
candidate.
yeah.
Do you think he was trying to set him
once
up?
again,
I don't know.
That fucking
I mean,
Axe is a goddamn psycho. Fuck Axe.
They had that little fight and argument between each other because of how this is that you should have watched him. He was your responsibility. You know,
Right.
the kid that got blown at the door and everything else. But there was a little tension between them. But they're also like really good friends. It seemed like they were really good friends because they've been working since he was a
raised
kid.
him.
Yeah, basically, because he was almost like a second father to Kurt Russell's character, and then Kurt Russell was a fatherly figure to his brother,
Right.
and everything else. But there was tension between them, which is actually another thing I was always trying to figure out. Did you all expect that to happen, to be him, or did you expect it to be Kurt Russell? Because I know they kind of put it in to look like it was Kurt Russell.
Now or before?
The first time you watched the movie.
Fuck if I remember. Now watching it today, I already knew it was him.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
I had a.
I
I
remember.
can't say for sure because it was probably like 93, 94 when I saw this.
Right.
Maybe.
I can't swear.
It's a long fucking time ago.
I saw
for
like
sure, but I
mid-90s, 95.
do remember seeing him in the scene with Kurt Russell's dad. Just seeing even before Kurt Russell pushes him, you saw him outside the building, and this was a flash there, and I'm just immediately like, bad guy. It just because that's how the '90s fucking always set shit up at the time. It just I can't swear that I caught it all the time, but just the way he looked, the way they showed him kind of walking across the screen, and it just screams bad guy. And I may have picked it up at the time, but I can't swear to it.
I didn't pick it up. I saw this probably like 94, 95 or something like this. And I remember there was a lot of times where you saw his character always like giving glares, always in the background looking while they were talking and stuff like that. Yeah.
He was a watcher.
Yeah. And I guess that could tell you right there that something was going on. So if you're
fucking
really
paying attention
that
to shit, man.
animalistic
Trying to
of
stay
the
fucking
movie,
informed.
you would see it, but I didn't see it. I didn't even know if it was Kurt Russell. I felt like it was still somebody else and not Kurt Russell.
That's why I was always
felt like
wondering
the
if it was
flame was
somebody else.
I felt like it was somebody else, but not that the Axe, right?
Right.
It wasn't Axe, but that we figured out it was Axe.
Ronald's got a son. or something like that.
Could have been the dude driving the fire. I mean, it could have. It would have been a big shock if it was that the one who grabbed the chicken. So
yeah,
none of this bad shit would have happened if Steven just stayed away. It's all his fault. What the fuck is?
I said chicken. I was trying to make it. It didn't. That was bad. That was bad. Thanks.
So anyway, so Brian actually thought it was Steven. So went and confronted him on his boat and
or Brian, I meant.
Huh?
Do what?
That's what I was not Steven, Brian. None of this shit would have happened if Brian just stayed away. If he never came back.
The fires were
Fires were gonna happen with or without him being there.
Yeah, they started before he.
No, it's all Brian's fault.
No, fire was going to happen with or without him being there. They wouldn't have been a man down if Brian didn't come back. They would have had somebody else assigned to that house, more than likely. So they wouldn't have been a man down.
See?
So Tim might not have gotten hurt.
Everybody'd be fine.
Yeah.
Brian's fault. It's Baldwin's fault.
Well, no, Seagrave still would have been dead. Holcomb would have still been dead.
But
They were scumbags, so there's no love lost.
Yeah. Alderman would have died.
That's fine.
Potentially. That's been fine.
Right.
They're useless anyways.
Yeah. So Brian caused the death of his brother and the mutilation of Tim. I'll go with that. Yeah. I'll accept that.
See? Told you. I was right.
So we didn't realize it was Adcox until Brian went to the firehouse to check Steven's stuff and turned around and sees the outlet burn on Adcox's back.
Mm-hmm.
That explained everything right there.
Yep. So Steven comes back to the firehouse.
He knew.
Yep. As soon as Brian looked at it, he could tell by the look on his face that he knew.
Yeah.
Steven comes back to the firehouse, realizing that the chemicals that were in the fire was what Adcox was giving him.
Yeah.
And that's when he came back. Is like, is it Adcox?
Mm-hmm.
And so fire call comes out at the chemical plant, and that's when Adcox and Bull and Steven get confronted on top of the plant. You want to go ahead and play that one clip?
Pulling the plug! Everybody off the roof now! Christ, Axe. Understand. My cousin Sally used to work in Swayzak's office. She saw the file, Steven. She saw what he did.
Put those chemicals on the boat.
What? I'm trying to explain to you, Steven. You back off!
Somebody had to stop these pricks, Steven. Look at me, Axe. Will you please listen to me?
Thinking of me, you burned.
You didn't
You're a
see.
fireman.
When Sally showed me what was in Sway's Axe files.
I couldn't blame
Sway's
Axe.
files? Should have told you. I should have let you in on it.
Let him in on
Sway's
what,
Axe and those
John?
assholes were closing firehouses. They were getting our friends killed for money. I had to, Steven. I had to do it for the department.
Did you
the
do it
family.
for Tim, John?
That was an accident.
Did you start that fire?
Jesus Christ, why'd you have to go in there so fucking early?
That's why you wanted me to wait.
Let me finish Sway's
No,
out.
John, it's over. You're coming
shut
down.
up. Your dad would fucking puke if he saw how you shit on his
What would he
department.
say about what you're doing, John?
Dad died saving my life. Died saving my life, and these people were killing firemen for money.
Swayzak.
We killed our friends for money. What the fuck would you do?
Look, you're his lieutenant, Steven. You've got to handle this. He's going. Get to the side, Brian! He's gonna go!
So that pretty much sets up the death of Adcox as they fall through the roof, and
I felt sorry for. See, I understand. I know what he was doing. I know what he did was wrong, but he was looking out for his company. He was looking out for his brothers. You know, the fact that they were all being killed, and you know, corporate greed, and everything else.
Right.
I can't. And the thing is, he was right. He knew he was going to die, and he says, "Let me go," you know, and he dies, and
right.
he falls down. I mean, he starts hitting fucking metal stairs and everything. But the fact is, he died for what he died. But I like I said, I know he's not the villain. The other dude is
the Alderman.
But I don't know. I feel for the guy. I understand why he was doing it. It was wrong, but I feel why he was doing it. So.
But yeah, once again, if
I
he
know.
started killing with the fucking alderman, even if none of the other guys got taken out, alderman would have no longer been in a place. Nobody would have been in a place of power to shut down any more fucking firehouses and steer everything. Like
the,
he had the power to fucking
documents
do.
probably would have gotten exposed.
Yeah. Also, altogether, he was retarded for not just starting with the fucking alderman.
Right.
Period. And yeah, fuck him. Fuck him. Fuck Brian. Yeah. Yeah. Yep.
Fuck the Baldwins.
Yeah.
I agree with
Fucking
that.
Billy. Then later on, his brother would go on and murder a bitch.
Right.
Shove a gerbil up. No, that was
Rustic.
fucking-
Was it Rustic
that
or
was-
Rust?
That was Richard Gere.
Yeah,
That was Richard
good
Gere.
one.
Oh man.
I you know what? It may have been Greer, but I think a Baldwin may have done it as well. I'm not sure. Maybe.
Possibly.
Maybe.
So,
If you don't know, I'm
but if
talking
that
about
didn't
shoving
happen,
a gerbil up your ass.
But if that didn't happen, then we wouldn't have had the great Lemony Winks episode of South Park.
I know.
Okay.
I don't know that.
That was an amazing fucking episode.
That was funny. That was good. That was good shit.
So, thank you, Richard Gere,
For being a fucking weirdo.
freak. If that's got to be, it had to have been made up, right? It had to have been.
I don't
It's
know.
such a random fucking shit.
I don't know.
it's such a story that's been around for so long.
I know.
I know.
Just- there has to be something to it.
There's got to be some sort of validity to it.
Not necessarily because fucking Paul from Wonder Years being Marilyn Manson. All right.
Oh God.
All right.
That fucking rumor.
Yes.
I remember that shit.
It
looked like him,
and that was from before internet was like a main thing. That just happened like one day.
Yeah.
Everybody in
knew.
America just thought for some reason the fucking dork from Wonder Years is fucking Marilyn Manson.
Nope.
Somehow the entire fucking country knew that.
Yeah.
Don't know how. All right.
Remember the Yellow Five?
No fucking clue.
Yeah.
Yellow Five
Yes.
on Mountain Dew. Yeah.
But
Remember that was a big
that's
rumor?
what I'm saying. So I don't know if there's any basis of reality at all to the Richard Gere thing. But I think it might have been something just so outlandish that society as a whole was like, yes. Right. Yes. This is insane.
Yep.
Yeah.
So right there, then, of course, we lose Steven. Show the funeral and all that stuff.
But
He beat the fire.
He
the
beat the
fire.
fire.
The fire did not get him.
Yes.
I forgot that he died.
Yeah.
In this movie, I remember when I saw it in the 90s, I
His heart
completely
exploded.
forgot that he died. I was not expecting. I thought he actually lived, and there was like a little thing with him and his brother.
Yeah, I know it's on Urban.
But maybe I was thinking of another movie when I found out he died. Because Sammy watched this for the first time,
Right.
and she cried.
Oh, really?
Yeah, she had tears in her eyes because the whole ordeal about
It's true.
the whole ordeal about God damn it, I just hear noise in the background. The whole ordeal about
I'm sorry. We will shut up.
I
And
don't even know
let
what the
you
fuck I
talk
was saying
now.
anymore.
That's your
Shit.
fault, not mine.
Ron loses his fucking track of thought.
You're saying how Sammy was
Yeah,
crying.
it's nothing new. But I mean, no, I did not realize that he died. I completely forgot about that.
Wait, you didn't know who
Both
died?
sides. Steven.
I
didn't know
forgot that he
Steven
died.
died?
For Kurt Russell's character.
You didn't know?
No, I knew.
He died twice.
I know.
I forgot that
There's
he.
no bringing it back a third time
I
for
haven't
this one.
seen this in a long time, and when I saw this, I was like, "Oh man, I forgot he died." Because I was thinking of another movie where he actually survived, or another character, and I got it mixed up with another movie. So I forgot that he died at the end of the movie. I thought he actually survived in the ambulance, and he was, with crutches or something like that. I completely forgot.
Lived happily ever after with his divorcing wife and kid.
Yeah.
The last thing the kid said is, mom's crying or something like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Fuck.
That's a way to.
That's the last time you ever saw your kid.
No, it's not.
Huh?
No, it's not.
Hey, figure.
Backdraft 2 is his son.
Okay.
His son is the main character. Is the main.
Well, no, I
No,
was saying,
that's the last time
I
he
know.
saw his kid.
I know.
Yeah.
He's this. Oh, so this. I knew there would be something like
in
that.
Backdraft 2,
Electric Boogaloo.
Sean McCaffrey is actually part of OFI, the Office of Fire Investigation, which is where Don Ringale was. So he's a fire investigator in
So his nephew.
Backdraft 2.
So basically, his nephew is.
Yes.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So he's fire investigator, and Brian is the assistant chief of the Chicago Fire Department.
That's a common trope with sequels. It's a common trope.
So my question is, when Brian quit and then got assigned to be like the city's rep at the fire investigator's place, he's no longer part of the fire department. He reports to the city, but he's not.
No, incorrect.
In the trailer, he looked like a fire chief.
The OFI is part of Chicago Fire.
The OFI is yes.
Yeah, and
but when Brian quit, he called up the girl and like that. And she's like, "Yeah, we'd love to have you." And the alderman's like, "Yeah, cool. You're gonna work."
I don't think he actually.
We're assigning you to work.
Right, but I
from the
think
city.
essentially, officially, what happened was he transferred
just
from.
reassigned.
Yes, I think he
Okay.
essentially was just transferred
Because
from
he was-
17 to OFI.
Yeah, because he even told Shadow that the city put me here, and so it seemed like he was a rep of the city, not a. It seemed like he was an outside civilian.
I think that was
personnel.
what essentially influenced the transfer was the city.
Okay.
That got him there, but he was still. I mean, Chicago Fire is the city. I mean, that is
yes,
in all honesty. So, however he got into it, it's just but paperwork wise, it was just a transfer from 17 to OFI.
Okay.
Is essentially is how I'm assuming that it happened. So he was still part of officially of Chicago Fire Department.
Interesting.
So, and of course at the end,
Transfers back.
the alderman gets his as they show up to him at his press conference and his light starts flashing in his eyes. So I know
That's your
it's not
career
good. So this is actually one of the top 5 fire department movies. Was one of the top 5.
Nice.
What are the other
What do you
four?
think is well? That's what I was going to ask. What do you think? How do you think with it? All right, what do y'all think numbers wise? This fell, and what maybe some of the other ones?
I think that one and the one with Josh Brolin.
No,
Only the brave.
yeah.
Thank you. That's
Yep.
it. Yes.
Yeah, that was not one of the top 5.
Really?
Yeah, unfortunately, I think it's one of the top 10.
Oh,
it wasn't the top 10, not top
World
5.
Trade Center.
No,
Okay. Damn. Then I have no clue.
Reno 911.
Nope. The movie Always.
Oh, okay.
That's number 5.
Yeah,
All right.
with the plane dropping the. Okay,
With Richard Dreyfuss and John Goodman.
good movie.
And Holly Hunter. Yeah, that's one of my favorite movies.
It's a good movie.
Frequency
With Dennis Quaid and Jen
Dennis
Cabby.
Quaid.
Good one. It's a good movie.
That is another good movie. Ladder 49 was 3.
Okay.
Okay,
good.
that's Walking Phoenix, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And John Travolta. Backdraft is number 2.
Okay.
Number 1.
It's something stupid.
It is.
It's stupid.
Now I pronounce you Chuck and Larry.
I know it. I fucking knew it. That is a great movie. Love that. That's fucking
That
amazing.
movie-
I'm surprised that that's a comedy like that would be one of the number 1.
That movie grossed $120 million.
Jesus Christ.
And Backdraft grossed 77. That's the difference between 1 and 2.
Oh, so this is so top 5 when it comes to money
Grossing.
makers.
Grossing. Yeah,
Oh,
grossing.
okay.
Grossing, I'm sorry. Yeah.
Okay, I'm
Top
sorry. I
5
thought you
grossing.
said like top 5 firefighter movies.
Yeah.
Okay.
Top 5 firefighter movie grossing movies.
Okay.
Yes.
I was taking that as you were saying these were the top
Yeah.
5.
Yeah.
movies
That's
that
why
are
I didn't
loved
think-
by
that's why I didn't like
firefighters.
that.
Gross.
Only the
Yeah,
Brave
I was
and
like,
World Trade Center.
Enjoyable, you know. Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry I didn't explain that a little bit better.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I can't
now
believe that.
pronounce you Chuck and
Yeah,
Larry.
that
Well,
grossed.
that's
that much
a
more.
lot more.
Mainstream.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
So-
comedy and you know.
It's like a circle.
This movie still
It's
made a
never
shitload of
ending.
money, but I think
did.
But
Well,
I
you
think it
still
was
make fun of-
also
They were. God, what year did that come out?
What?
Chuck and Larry?
like mid 2000s.
2007.
God damn, and they were still making fun of.
Gays.
Yeah,
Yeah.
That's
that
when-
recently they were saying, you know, how ridiculous they were making that as a ridiculous point. You know, oh hey, this is kind of a ridiculous idea. Let's laugh at this idea. And I'm just like, how much has changed so fucking quickly in a short period of fucking time.
So you don't think that movie could be made right now?
I don't think it would be nearly as
Funny because everything's
yeah,
more
as
accepted.
ridiculous of an idea.
Because it's more accepted. Yeah.
It's commonplace. It is what it is. You know, it's just like, okay, yeah, all right. They wouldn't be able to get the laughs that you do now.
Interesting.
Yeah, like Revenge of the Nerds wouldn't be able to get the same type of laughs that you get now just because of the culture has changed. So
That's
fucking
true.
much.
Right. Still a great movie.
There's certain things that you just
It's
can't make anymore.
outdated.
Yeah.
It's
Well, I
it's
mean,
dated
yeah.
movie. Yeah.
And
I mean,
it's not because
essentially-
it's bad.
No,
or
that
anything,
one,
it's just,
I mean, well,
times have
Revenge of the Nerds, technically you had rape in it.
I know.
Yeah.
I know.
I mean, it's
100%. I mean, it ain't no technical. It is absolutely fucking rape.
You didn't have technical.
100%.
Right. There was.
Just because she ended up being cool with it afterwards.
Right,
doesn't mean-
exactly.
That's a fucking
Yeah.
dicey thing to roll.
Oh man.
What favorite scenes?
I gotta think about that one.
Basically, any alone with fire in it. It just rewatching it anytime. Because I'm doing a lot, especially with the movie that I've seen a handful of times. I'll be on my phone just looking up random stuff or whatever. Just keep my brain occupied. I know I should be 100% dialed in, but fucking ADD. But anytime the fire was on the screen, I was just admiring how beautiful of a job they did while it was rolling and
So,
everything like that.
so the other question was your favorite character. Your favorite character is the fire.
Yeah.
I was going
100%.
to say.
He always
And if
goes
it's
for
not the fire, it's definitely Donald Sutherland.
Yeah.
He stole the fucking show to me.
Right.
I like Kurt Russell's character, Bull. I liked Bull for my character. For my favorite scene, I would say the scene with De Niro and Sutherland. I thought the way that he was waiting inside that room, that the patrol board, not patrol board, what's it called? Parole board. And he was waiting to just say what he wanted to say. Said, you know, and just his acting, Sutherland's acting in that was just amazing. Like he was so creepy, and you know that this
Were
guy
they implying also that Ronald had something to do with
the death of his father.
Yeah, like
They were. It
his
sounded
dad,
like it.
The
Unless his
animal
father-
killed
no.
his dad, and you didn't tell him who's coming, and then he kept referring to the fire as his animal.
Right. No,
so
I think
was that implying that that particular fire was his animal?
I don't think so. I think it was mainly he
And it's
put
kind of
out the
fucked up,
fires
like,
that
you didn't tell him who
Right.
he was coming to see.
I think he just put out the fires that the father put out the fires that he set, and he was a big culprit for most of the fires that he set. I think that's what it was. I don't think he.
I don't think that particular fire was, I don't know.
It's a good.
It's kind of like I mean, just that line is.
I mean,
you didn't tell him who he was coming to see.
Yeah,
that kind of implies like there's a much deeper connection,
and they left it there.
And they just like fucking left that hanging there. I was like,
no,
yeah.
That would be kind of a fucked up thing. Day one of the job. Hey, we're gonna go meet the dude who killed your dad. Yeah.
Yep. That's why I didn't tell him.
Jesus.
Yeah, that's fucking rough.
Okay, sorry.
So, what about you?
I said mine.
I know you said yours. Did you say your scene?
The big fire scene, their big first fire scene.
Okay.
The one with the mannequin?
in the warehouse
At the garment factory?
Yeah,
With the mannequin. Okay.
that one there.
Yeah.
That one there. The whole scene was beautiful. The way they had the fire going and
Right.
everything for it, amazing.
Mine was the next fire where it was the apartment fire where he saved the little boy. And so they go up the stairs and he tells Brian, come in behind me.
Yeah.
And
he freezes.
he drives in. Yeah, Brian freezes, and then all of a sudden he turns around and just that one burst of fire blows him back. And then the next thing you see is they come up, they hit the water. And that's one thing that again would happen, because if he runs into the room of fire and then they come up, he's standing up. So one, it's gonna be thousands of degrees at that angle. And then they hit that room with water.
Yeah.
Now you got steam.
Yeah.
And so
that steam gets hot.
He's getting steam burned, and the little boy, he's got bare armed in his arm as he's running out the door, is going to get steam burned.
Yeah.
So, but
it's a heroic shot.
it's a movie.
Shot though.
Yeah. But that's the scene I like, is how he comes running out. Yeah, that was neat. And my favorite is going to be Rengale. I really love what his whole entire arc through the movie.
Yeah.
So, well,
did you say yours?
I started out with mine.
Oh, that's right, with the fire.
He started out with this.
Yeah. I keep thinking
he said fire.
You
and
would
they
pick
said-
unique characters.
Then he
Yeah.
said, but then he said Ronald.
Yeah.
So, I guess we're ready for scores.
Oh yeah.
So, anybody else has anything else?
No, we've pretty much covered this movie all the way through. It's pretty good. Yeah.
So, like I said, if anybody has any questions about Backdraft 2, I did watch it. So, but
Who dies? I'm just curious. Any of the main characters?
actually, yes.
Let me guess. Baldwin.
Yes.
I figured.
Saving Sean.
That's a trope.
Yeah.
It's a trope.
So,
Saving his nephew.
his nephew. But
Billy.
Oh well.
It's a
Billy.
Would I say it's a good sequel? No. It was okay as a movie.
Is it worth a
a
watch though? Is it worth a watch? If you like the
I
first
would
one,
watch it.
Okay.
Yeah. That's again.
Okay.
That's why I watched it, because I like the first
about,
one.
I was thinking about giving it a watch just to see how it is. But
Yeah. But like I said, it's not. It's a good home movie.
Yeah.
That's why I didn't go to theaters.
Yeah.
So one worth. It wouldn't have made the money in the movie theaters. Maybe the first night, and then when everybody got the word how it was, it would have just tanked. So, Stu, what do you think?
I'll probably go. I think enjoyability a 3.75.
Okay.
I enjoyed it. I did. I always remember being happy with it. Predictable tropes. Nothing, earth-shattering. Super outside the box. Nothing super unique. Some great special effects. Like I said, I can't say enough about the fire. It was so beautiful. And I'll give that to Ron Howard. He can definitely make the environment become its own character in his films.
Yeah.
And they do a good job of that in this one. But I mean, just standardized tropes, brother against brother, but also loving brother, trying to live in daddy's shadow, but not being in daddy's shadow at the same time. Just that type of stuff. Critically, I'll probably give it a 3.75 also. Like I said, just once again, nothing super groundbreaking, super original about it. Some predictability. But like I said, the effects were good, were really, really good. I enjoyed the effects a lot. I really enjoyed Donald Sutherland. Shadow was awesome in it. Kurt Russell did good. Baldwin did Baldwin. They're all pretty much interchangeable to me.
Yeah.
Nothing.
One's fatter than the other.
Yeah, I mean, there's what is it, like 4 of them?
There's Billy, Danny, Alec,
Adam. I think
Adam Baldwin. What was the
I
one?
think there's an Adam Baldwin.
There's
isn't
an
there?
Adam Baldwin.
I think Adam. Isn't that the one that was in Nothing But Trouble that got pulled over by John Candy?
I think.
I know that. I know there was a Baldwin in that.
Adam Baldwin is the one that's in Firefly.
Yeah.
That's Adam.
Yep.
Adam is the one that does a lot of like military. He was in Independence Day. He was
That's a Baldwin?
Yes, the one who he was in the uniform and he shot the window out.
Yeah.
That's
He's
Adam
a
Baldwin.
Baldwin? I
That's
didn't know
Adam
that.
Baldwin.
He's the ugliest of the Baldwins.
He's not a brother. I think he's a cousin.
Okay, he has to be because he doesn't look anything like him.
They're part of.
Yeah,
They're
I
all the
I
fucking
believe
same.
he's
I
a
don't
cousin.
care. They're all the Baldwins.
Yeah, but
they're all the Baldwins. I don't give a fuck.
What's the one
All
that's
right,
in
they're
Nothing
all
But
the
Trouble?
Baldwins.
There's a Baldwin in Nothing But Trouble. It's not this one.
But either way,
Is that Steven? Stephen Baldwin? The goofy one that was also in.
No, that was in Biodome.
Yeah,
That's
Yes.
a different one.
Yeah, he's the one who was in Biodome.
they're all the.
He
fucking-
is not fucking related to them.
I believe he's a cousin.
Are you saying that like you're correcting him, or out of shock?
He doesn't look like them.
He does.
The fuck he does.
No, bullshit. You cannot see that.
No.
You cannot see him being related to, especially Alex the fat one, right?
Okay, there's 4 Baldwins because Danny Baldwin is one that's in Nothing But Trouble. This is which Baldwin is this?
Daniel's the fat one.
Yeah.
Okay.
He was also
Yeah, so Danny
in The Sopranos.
And him look similar. I think of all the Baldwins, Danny and him look the most related.
Yeah, but the guy that's in Independence Day and Firefly, I can't
So
see
you
him
have
as a
Stephen Baldwin, Danny Baldwin, Adam Baldwin, Alec Baldwin, William Baldwin.
Who's Biodome Baldwin? That's Billy Baldwin.
No, that's Danny Baldwin, I think.
No, Danny Baldwin is the one that's in Nothing But Trouble.
Oh, okay.
There's a distance relationship.
He is distantly related to the Baldwin brothers.
I had no fucking clue about that. I didn't know that was
cousin.
Yeah.
So they share ancestry that dates back to England in the 1600s. However, the Baldwin brothers are from Long Island, and Adam is from Chicago.
Well, I'm sorry. They still look.
So,
Alec Baldwin is
I
the
don't
most,
see
I
any
see it.
sort of fucking
I
resemblance,
see it.
really.
100%. But in between him and the fat,
Depends. I think maybe depending on which Baldwin.
yeah, but between him and the fat Baldwin, they look.
Alec, Daniel, William,
They
and
look-
Stephen.
and which Baldwin is this?
Related.
This is Steve Baldwin? No.
No, this is Billy Baldwin.
This is William Baldwin.
William Baldwin.
William or Billy, depending
So Bill-
on
so
what
there's-
year it is.
Yeah.
What he's going by.
So there's Billy, Danny, Alec,
And Steven.
Steven,
is the Biodome, right?
Yes.
sure.
Yeah. The
Goofy one.
the usual suspects, Baldwin. Yeah. Okay.
And then I'm sure
and
there's
then
like a Frank and a George somewhere in there, and
Frank Sloan.
yeah. So, but either way, all the Baldwins are basically interchangeable to me. None of them are great actors. None of them are horrible actors.
I know you
either.
said this in Hunt for the Red October.
Yeah.
I remember you saying that. The Baldwin plays a Baldwin.
They're there.
Yeah.
They're there. The guy who played Axe, I've seen him in a million fucking things.
Scott Glenn.
Scott Glenn. There you
Yeah.
go.
Yeah, he was in
I like
Silence
him.
of the Lambs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like him. I do.
Yeah.
Not enough to carry a film on his own, but enough to be a strong support. And so, like I said, so there's pluses and minuses in this one, but overall, I think it's a well done film, and I do suggest people seeing it.
Yeah. It's weird how we keep pushing the analogy between Donald and Lecter. How they seem to be alike. I was wondering if one took the other. Yeah, depending. Both movies came out in '91.
That's funny.
So it's like, how did?
So that didn't work out.
No, neither one could like work off the like.
Yeah.
Oh, I kind of took my
But I
inspiration
feel like
off of.
That's funny.
They both came out in '91.
Going to a bad guy to get into the understanding of a different bad guy's mind is a trope that's been around.
But the way that he carried the character.
Well, Silence of the Lambs.
kind of-
Silence of the Lambs isn't the first one to do that because Manhunter also starred Hannibal Lecter, which was Billy Cox, who played Hannibal Lecter in that, and that was in the '80s, late '80s. So it was the same type of scene where it was basically based off the Red Dragon story. Manhunter is a movie of Red Dragon.
But to me, the way that Sutherland portrayed Donald,
yeah,
seemed really close to how
Hannibal Lecter act.
Hopkins portrayed Lecter.
I disagree. I think they both like Sutherland leaned more into the joyousness,
The pleasure side
the absolute giddiness almost of the character, and versus Lecter was more a portrayal of the psychopathy, the insanity, but also the brutal intelligence.
Yes, but there is
behind it, and
but I think the difference also had to do with what was being portrayed between an arsonist and a serial killer.
That's not.
And
But
I think they kind of was
they both
creating the
lean
difference.
into the different emotional aspects that are tied in with their character, but in completely different emotional groundings.
But they did have it. They did have a same thing where they both asked for like a payment for. I will tell you this if you tell me this story.
Quid pro
Hannibal
quo.
Lecter, did that, in, and they did that in this.
That's what they're going to do. No matter
Do you think that's a trope?
what. I think anybody that you go into any fucking movie that they go in to talk to a bad guy who is in jail, whatever, they're going to ask for some sort of payment for any information they give you. That's just common sense. You have something
You're right.
other people want.
Okay.
They're going to pay you for this information, whether it's actual money or it's information or just some sort of thing to fucking tickle your feelings at the moment. That's just a common sense type thing. It isn't, they're stealing from one character or the other. That's just boiled down basic humanity.
It's common decency for crooks.
Yeah.
Ragnar?
Yes.
What do you think?
I'll give them both 3.5. It's a good movie. My biggest gripe was the opening scene. Nobody in there had any SCBAs on. Nobody.
Okay. What is that?
You talk about the opening
scene of the movie
where his father died.
Yeah.
What's an SB? What is
SCBA is self-contained breathing
apparatus.
So it said air pack.
Yeah, but also wasn't this done in like the first one was like almost in the 60s?
It was 1971.
So wouldn't that be different from the time?
No.
Okay.
SCBAs came out in 1863.
Yeah. Okay. I didn't know. Sorry. I didn't know if that would have been different. So
now
I'm telling you that.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
I think I'm surprised that they didn't have them on, not necessarily using them.
Well, I mean, not just using it, but like they didn't have them.
Yeah.
They didn't have anything with them. You know?
Well, really, I mean,
so
I don't remember. I'll have to go back and look at it because really the only two people I saw up in the fire was Adcox and Bull. They were the only ones
and
upstairs.
Bull never wore them.
Bull
never wore shit.
Or I'm sorry, not Bull, but Dennis, but his father. But he didn't.
And Axe didn't have one on,
right?
You know,
but I didn't know.
Nobody else had any on.
Yeah, I didn't notice any, but about the on the lower level what they were wearing.
Like that part there irked me.
Yeah,
from the get go of it. And like his second Brian's love romance thing. You know, I know we hit on it a little bit earlier, but excuse me. Hit or miss. Could have done without it. Didn't.
I agree.
It was fine to have it in there. Wasn't that big of a deal to have it in. It could have been left out, and I don't think it would have changed anything in the story.
Right, it was just extra screen time.
The effects were very, very good for that time frame for 91. The way they did everything in there, and with explosions and pyrotechnics and fire, you know, it's a very, as much as you can actually try to have it be a controlled environment,
right?
Without nobody getting, especially with fire and explosions, without nobody getting.
It's controlled chaos.
It is.
Essentially is what
very
it is.
much so.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know, I think they did a very, very good job with that. Baldwin's character, Baldwin himself, he's meh. You know, I thought he did fine for playing the douchey loser brother.
He didn't really go anywhere with acting.
You know,
The only movie I remember him was Fair Game with Cindy Crawford that came out around the same years. And after that, I didn't see him in any other movies. Like, he didn't go anywhere with acting other than direct-to-video movies. I looked at his whole...
That's where they all go.
Yeah.
Every actor does it. So,
You're saying William didn't go anywhere?
With movies, he didn't really... He did
Sliver? You don't remember?
In the 90s and stuff like that. But I'm talking on till then, it was mainly direct-to-video. There was mainly not any really big hitters, heavy hitters or anything like that. I think he was trying to be the new action star with Fair Game, and that movie sucked with Cindy Crawford. And then it just didn't really... He didn't really go anywhere compared to the other Baldwins. So...
Well, I feel like only... What was it? Alec Baldwin really was the only one who really...
Went anywhere?
Of all of them.
What's the Biodome one didn't really...
Steven,
he didn't really go anywhere. He was early 90s, Usual Suspects, and Biodome, and that's all I really remember him from. I don't remember him in any other movies after that either. I mean, Alec is really the highest of all of them. So,
I mean...
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
I mean, cause I will say he did have some good fucking movies that he was in.
90s, though.
Yeah, in the 90s, yeah. But, I mean, that's... If you make a handful of really good movies in a decade... You kind of are set for life.
Right.
Yeah,
all right. You really are.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Then you got to throw in some shitty ones here and there.
Yeah.
Just to help keep yourself grounded. Critically, 3.5, you know, like I said. Special effects were great. The practical effects were great. The story was good. I enjoyed the story of it. Like Stu said earlier, he could have just killed the alderman right away.
Right.
You know, and avoided everything else. But then, you know, we'd have like a 5-minute movie.
Right.
Yeah.
And it wouldn't be about firefighters.
Yeah.
Really. It'd be more of a murder mystery. It's fucking 23 years old, so I don't know why the fuck you would never have seen this. Especially for, this newer generation, probably not.
Right.
You know, go watch it. It's enjoyable, and you can get your panties in it untwisted for it. So, yeah, you know, like there's men pursuing women in it. So, you know, don't get too butthurt. That is all.
All right. Ron?
I'm going to agree with Stu on the same score with Stu. 3 3.75 for both. I highly
fucking original. I see how it is.
No, I'm sorry. I actually agree with you on that. The whole ordeal about this movie is that it's entertaining. The story, I love the story about brothers. And any story when it has to with brothers, I'm very big fan of. I thought Kurt Russell did a good job. Danny.
Right.
Danny Baldwin.
Four Brothers?
Yeah.
Huh?
Billy.
What about Four Brothers? Do you like that movie?
Oh, with Mark Wahlberg? Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah.
William Baldwin.
Yeah. God damn it, I'm getting all fucking mixed up. There's so many fucking Baldwins. Billy, William, Danny. All right.
Brother, we're out there.
That's a great fucking movie. It's not about brothers, but yeah. But altogether, the movie it's great. I don't care for the love story between Jennifer Jason Leigh, and I mean she's a pretty actress, and best movie she ever won was A Hateful Eight. I love her in The Hateful Eight, Fast Times at Ridgemont High, and everything else. But you know, she was just put in here because she was like a really big hitter from the '80s and the '90s. I even liked Robert De Niro in his role that he did. I'm not a fan of Robert De Niro as a person, but anything 95 and below, I really like a lot of the movies he's done.
Right.
And I enjoyed his character, especially his little beef with Donald Sutherland's character, Ronald's.
Why 95 and below?
He hasn't really come up with any good movies ever since after that. I haven't seen any good movies. The other only movie that I thought he was okay was The Irishman, and maybe analyze that or something like that. But I like Heat, Casino, The Godfather Part 2. He was better in a lot of movies in the 90s. Cape Fear, the movies below that, or Killers of the Flower Moon. He was okay in that, but I just like because I love it for the director. But altogether, it's a great movie. The brotherly, and I enjoyed. The special effects were amazing. I was very shocked for being 91 that, you know, because CGI wasn't there yet, and how the fact that it was all very practical effects. I thought they did a very good job with it. I love the score of this movie from Hans Zimmer. It's very heroic. Is it one of my favorite firefighter movies? No. There's other ones that I enjoyed more than this one, but to me, this is a movie that's got the common tropes. It's got a lot of things that you already know, predictable things that are going to happen. It's a very studio Hollywood type of movie. When it comes to Ron Howard, he does a great job. I still think his masterpiece is Apollo 13. That will always be my favorite of Ron Howard. But this one, he did a good job with it. It's a fun, entertaining movie. It's a great, it does a good portrayal of firefighters, even though there's non-realistic things here and there. But I like it how they turn it into like a mystery, trying to figure out who the killer is and what's going on with that. It's really cool how they put that into the whole firefighter story and showing the whole life of a firefighter and everything. It was good. Like I said, it's not perfect, but it's not bad. It's good. It's entertaining, and I highly recommend it. If anybody's never seen it, go fucking see it. It's worth a watch. You might enjoy it, you might not, but it's a good movie. So yeah,
if you don't enjoy it, fuck off.
Yeah,
right. No, this is one of my favorite movies. I mean, and you can probably tell why.
Yeah,
because you really love the Baldwins.
Yeah. Oh, Billy. But no, it's the effects that Ron Howard pulls off is just for 91 is just phenomenal.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I said earlier, some of the stuff is unrealistic, but I understand why he had to do certain things is because you've got to be able to see what's going on.
Yeah.
It's
and it's cool to get your input on the movie.
It's a visual medium. If you can't see, if all you see is smoke, and it's like where'd everybody go? It's not fun.
And it's great to get the input on the movie from you being a firefighter.
Yeah.
So that's really cool to have your input on that. So
and so critical. I'm just, and this is mostly because of effects. I'm gonna give it a 4.
Okay.
It's phenomenal what he was able to get away with, or not get away with, but what he was able to achieve.
Yeah.
Just visually, especially like you said earlier. The way some of the scenes where they're just rolling across, it's beautiful how some of the scenes where the fire's just rolling across the ceiling. And one of the things that was one of the trivia things I didn't bring up is in 1991, Ron Howard actually went to Capitol Hill into Congress to try to get more money for firefighters and for training. He was representing them because at that time they were trying to get more funding. That was right about the time where really things took off in.
Why would he go to Capitol Hill, considering the funding is done at state and city and local levels, not on a federal level for the most part?
It does trickle down. There is federal training that can be done, and some of that money does flow down. From like I said, local around here, there's not a lot of federal funding that we would get, but the strives and training and policies on training, things like that, is done at the federal level.
Okay.
Like I said, the NFPA, that's a federal department, and so having to strive to get more funding to help better improve methods, techniques, gear. A lot of that, the testing and stuff like that is done at the federal level.
Okay.
Especially with federal departments.
Okay.
Federal firefighters and things like that. A lot of the stuff is that we see happens up there first.
Right.
So it's kind of how it's just it's not necessarily getting money here, Fredericksburg, Stafford, things like that.
Yeah.
But ultimately, any strives in training and gear, stuff like that, does trickle down eventually and help smaller departments.
Okay.
So that's kind of where that comes from.
Interesting.
So enjoyment. I'm gonna give it. I'm gonna actually say 4 1/4. Like I said.
Good.
I love the movie. Is there problems with it? Yes, but the enjoyment I get from it I can overcome it.
Yeah.
So no, I really enjoyed. It's been a while since I've had a chance to watch it, so I enjoyed being able to go back and watch it again for this. I've actually since I watched it the first time 2 weeks ago. Not the first time, but since we decided but getting ready for tonight, I think I've watched it 4 times in the past 2 weeks.
Nice. Oh wow!
Just trying to,
That's awesome.
see everything and get, so I'm not coming here saying what happened here, what happened here, what happened here. So I just understood and watched it and then taking notes and stuff like that. So yeah, so the first time I watched it, I was like, I remember this. Okay. And then the second time I was like, okay, I got to write notes here. Third time I was like, what did I miss?
I'm like slacker ass.
I'll be honest with you.
I don't have as good
Give
of
him time.
We're just coming to freestyle.
sometimes-
time.
Well, and
I remember kind of saying it once.
no, I didn't want to come here for my first time hosting a movie and be like, okay, I'm done after 30 minutes. I want to make sure I could fill some time. So
You've done a great job.
But no, I'm going to be honest with you.
Did
For
good.
your first hosting gig, great fucking job.
And all the
I
shit
appreciate
Ron
it.
was talking, before this about you. Whew, I'm glad
That's
you
why
proved
my
him wrong.
ears were burning.
I'm glad
Damn,
you proved him wrong.
shit.
He was
Fuck you,
worried.
Ron.
Typical Ron. I gave him, I'm very impressed.
You're stumbling a lot.
I am not stumbling. Shut the fuck up.
No, you shut the fuck up.
God damn it. You fuck. Always making me the
I
bad
would
guy.
have told you, I think everything will be fine. Everything will be good.
What did I say? Anything like that? Okay. No, whatever. No, great job.
So yeah, so now I got 2 weeks to get ready for this one. I only have a week to get ready for the next one, so don't expect next week. Next time.
The next one is
I expected
compared to this one.
You've had plenty of time to be ready for both of them.
Yeah.
Actually,
You've chosen to only give yourself a
actually, I
week.
think I've already watched the other one twice.
There you go. Already? Damn.
Yeah.
See, well, that's the next hosting gig for Adam here is Silent Night, Deadly Night, the first Christmas episode of December for us. So that's going to be a fun one because we've been trying to knock that one out for years, and the fact that Adam went ahead and took the reins for that, it's gonna be fun. I'm curious how everybody's gonna enjoy that one.
We're still trying to figure out the drink for that one. I came up with an
You can do anything Christmas-like. You don't have to do something that relates to the movie. It's Christmas. You can do a Christmas drink.
I did find something related to the movie, but
Cool.
Anna was like, no. So I was
Okay.
like, okay, so
Well, that sucks.
we'll have to figure that out. So we're still working on that. So she's the one that helps me figure the drinks out because she knows more about it.
Did
than
a
I
great
do.
job with
She did a
this
good
one.
job with this. It was good.
Yeah, like I said, she did knocked it out of the park with this one.
Yeah.
Especially if it was kind of a last minute fucking
Yeah, it was. It
situation.
literally was. It was like,
I know because you kept talking about that beer, and I was like,
Yeah.
oh, we're going to be doing a beer again. It's been a while. And then you said, we didn't get the beer. I'm like, oh, so you're doing a cocktail. Okay. And it turned out that the cocktail turned out really good. Yeah.
But no, we were at was it Saturday we went to Maltese. Yeah, I think it was on Saturday.
Yeah.
We went there and we're like, damn it. I mean, we got a flight of beer and all that. I'll try all the different ones. And there was a couple of them that were pretty good. And then we're like, so can we get a growler or what can we do? And they're like, no.
No beer for you.
What? I mean, we can't take anything home. They got not yet.
That sucked.
Bucket. Oh well.
What is we are, a brewery? Come on now.
Right, exactly.
Well, Adam, great job hosting this. This was a fun
thank you.
episode doing
You did good.
Backdraft.
Appreciate it.
Make sure you guys subscribe to us on YouTube and
Ring-a-ling, that ding-a-ling, to be notified when we drop new shit.
yes, and also make sure to check out Barrel Aged Chicks. They do
Why
a
you
great
always laugh
fucking
when I do that
show.
shit?
Because it's funny.
It is funny. Make sure to check out Barrel Aged Chicks. They're an amazing show. They do, cover a lot of things, the girl's perspective, and also their FMKs are hilarious. And then also follow us on YouTube, Instagram. We're also on X and everything. And
Who's going to give it to you?
what was that?
X going to give it to you.
X gonna give it to you. Yeah. Background. But anyways, that's the end of our episode. So we will see you guys for our last episode of November, which is Thanksgiving, and then on to Christmas. Later, guys.
Thank you.
See you.
Later.
Great job, Adam.
Thank you very much.
Awesome.